and welcome to the Saladcast on Sunday, the 23rd of September, 2012. I'm your host, Dan Train. Joining me today, Zachary Burgess.
Hello.
And Robert Kemp.
Bonjour.
Bonsoir,
mes amis.
Bonsoir.
Ça va?
It is indeed a soir. I don't know how bon it is. It's a bit rainy. Il faisait... Oh shit, what's rain? Not
Rainy.
il faisait not beau. non beau.
Non beau. Ne pas bon.
Yeah.
Ne bien
Ne
pas.
pas de beau.
Ne pas de bon. Bon de bon.
Yeah.
Ne bon de bon.
I really can't remember any French. Back
As
from
it turns out, neither did I.
back from Paris then, Mr. Kemp.
Oh,
And how was your trip?
it was alright. I did a lot of walking.
Yeah, walking and walking. Did
So
you walk
much
down the
walking.
Champs-Elysees from...
We
It's a
did.
long way.
In
Do you
fact,
go
we
from
walked
the
from the
Arc de
Eiffel
Triomphe
Tower
all the way
to
to
the
the
Louvre.
Oh, okay.
All
Like, over
along
the
the
river?
Seine. Not like Jesus.
Did you-
I mean,
did you go
like,
insane?
by the side of the Seine, but
Right, okay.
just had to clarify.
That makes sense. Yeah, well, as long as you didn't go insane, then it's all good.
In Seine, in the membrane. So
In
like,
the membrane.
the membrane.
Insane. In the brain.
Membrane.
So yes. And so you climb the Tour Eiffel then?
We did. We did not go all the way to the top because there's like a
Okay.
nearly 100% price markup in if you want to go to the top as opposed to most of the way up.
Most of the way. That's hilarious. How much
like-
is it? Like,
It's like €8 or something to go to le deuxième étage. However, if you want to go to the top, which I can't remember the French for, it's like
the top.
it's like
Yeah.
14 or 15 euros or something like that.
What? It's crazy.
It's
Okay.
crazy. So we were like, yeah, you still get a pretty good view from the deuxième étage, so we'll go there.
Yeah.
Plus,
Cool.
it probably
Was that a nice
doesn't
day? Did you
cause-
get to see far?
Yeah, it was. Wait, well, yeah, it was super sunny while we were there. So it was. Although the wind was up when you go up, wind up.
Right, yeah.
So it was a bit chilly. It being September,
Chile.
but it's.
true.
But yeah, it was nice. It was nice to be able to see Paris during the day, which I haven't really been able to do before.
When was the one time you...
I had a
before
business trip to Paris one time, and but yeah, the one time I got to go to the Eiffel Tower, it was nighttime, which looks kind of cool. But when you go up there at night, it's like can't really see very much.
No.
You see a lot of lights, but no real like you can't really pick out landmarks very easily.
Yeah, that's true.
But it does do one cool
So where
thing.
else-
We went back at night anyway, just because it's cool at night, and like sat underneath it for a bit. And it's like on the hour, it does something unexpected. It
Really?
sparkles.
What could be unexpected?
It
It
fucking
sparkles on the hour.
There's like a million lights somewhere, like
Right.
planted all over it, and so like for 5 minutes on the hour, every hour at night, it sparkles.
It just sparkles every hour. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
pretty much.
mysterious.
It's just sort of like I go, woo,
Pretty cool.
woo, that's
Like little stars, I guess, all over
I guess,
the...
yeah. I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to
it's
represent,
nice.
but it sparkles!
Awesome.
I want to see sparkle.
So what else did you check out?
Well, on the first day, right, we walked from the hotel, like, pretty much through Montmartre, like, the entirety of it, until we got to
Right,
Sacré-Cœur, which is...
It's a bit hilly, right?
Only around Sacré-Cœur. It's like, Montmartre itself is, like, fairly... pretty much Paris in general is entirely flat.
Mostly.
Which is quite
Yeah.
useful. But yeah, Sacré-Cœur is like a big-ass hill. So
Yeah.
yeah, we walked all the way up there, and up the steps, on our footsies.
Oh, right, all the way up those
And it
stairs.
that was kind of fun. But like one thing I couldn't help but notice during that walk is like, oh my god, the French must need their drugs real bad. Because there's like
Really?
everywhere you walk, it's like along Montmartre especially. It's like I'm not sure there's
Yeah.
a view without 2 pharmacies being in plain sight with those big green
right.
signs. It's like
Yeah.
they're everywhere.
It's the same in Spain and stuff. There's like tons of pharmacies, and they all have that same like
green
neon sign.
Well, no, I'm not even sure they're the same.
Thing.
It's like they have the green cross, but they all play different animations and different variants of animations, and some of them have blue.
Customized pharmacy animation.
Yeah, it's like they pimped their pharmacy with a blue sign. Get some
crazy.
pink neons on it, and then.
Yeah, how do they make money? They must like.
It's like, it's like
people desperate for ibuprofen. Like,
is their diet so bad that they need like supplements by the truckload?
I don't know.
And so it's like,
aren't they?
Get all your pills here. Pills here. But I just found it bonkers because we're just walking. I spent the first day pretty much going, here's another one. There's another one.
There's another one.
There's another one. Yeah, look, we're at the Moulin Rouge. Fuck it, I don't care. There's 3 pharmacies in view now.
In view of Moulin Rouge. Yeah. Yeah. So it's like a pharmacy spotting trip of Montmartre.
Pretty much.
Awesome.
Fucking everywhere. It's insane.
I thought you were going to say there were like loads of like drug dealers in Montmartre, which there probably are a few. Cause
I didn't outwardly notice that they were drug dealers, but it's like they just need their general legal drugs.
Indeed, I need legal drugs. Where can I go? Oh wait, there's like 3 within eyesight.
Heck, there was even a place called Public Drugstore that wasn't actually a drugstore, but it had a pharmacy in it. It's
mysterious.
Public Drugstore. So there was a lot of that. There's a shit ton of graffiti everywhere as well. I mean, like a fuck ton of it. And it's a real shame because some of it is in like real sort of like, really inconsiderate places. Like we went down the catacombs, which were pretty cool. Like, just to take in some bones. There'd be a lot of bones down there.
I've never seen that except in Deus Ex. Well, that probably didn't look much like the real thing.
I don't know. What did it look like in Deus Ex? I don't really remember that bit. There were just basically walls of bones.
Paris was quite late on, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, cool. Okay.
Bones. So many bones. And like, but people had actually. There's some sections where it's like there's a few sort of monuments almost to people that had died down there, and people had carved like little cityscapes into the side of the rock and things like that. And then there's like some graffiti right on the top of the building or something in the centerpiece, and it says something that I couldn't read. But it's like, who the fuck would do that? It's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, this is a one-of-a-kind thing, and someone's just gone and said, I was here.
Someone's just... rubbish.
I fuck it, or drawn one of those stupid hearts that people draw on trees. I don't know.
It's like in Catchers Are in the Rye. It's a really nice museum or something, and then he just finds like someone's like scrawled "fuck you" or something like on the steps or something. It's like, the world is shit. What are these people doing?
There was quite a funny one in the Pompidou actually, like on the
Pompidou Centre.
Yeah. I went to the bathroom, and it's like on the roll dispenser, the loo roll dispenser. There was something that said it was like made by a company called Prop, except someone had changed it so it said so it had an arrow pointing down towards the loo, and they changed it so it said Poop Art.
Okay.
Poop Art.
Mysterious.
And then just in case you didn't quite get it, underneath it, sort of right next to the big arrow, it just says, "Like I said, fuckers."
What the hell? Are you serious? Oh dear.
Poop Art. Like I said, fucker.
Yeah, I heard that when they made that film Amelie, they had to like clean the streets of graffiti like massively to film there to make it look like less shit.
So don't get me wrong, there are some cool graffiti. There's a lot of cool graffiti around as well. Like there's one of the brothers from Tintin or something wearing knuckle dusters and carrying a gun, or
okay,
and spiky shoulders for some reason, which was kind of cool. And we saw a lot of the Invaders about, the classics.
Oh right, yeah.
So there's some pretty cool stuff about, but it's just laced with people just scrawling some illegible version of their name.
Yeah. Oh well.
Bah.
That's the Parisian way, apparently. Bah.
Bah, yeah, ruin everything.
You see any other sites?
I'm sure there was more, I want to say, more sweeping generalizations about the French nation, but it's...
Why? How were your interactions with the French people?
Difficult. It was quite funny because, to be honest, I didn't really try very hard to I spent some time trying to learn all this French and stuff. And eventually, when it came to it, when anyone spoke to me, I'm just sitting there going, "What? I don't know what the hell you just said." I could read it, okay, not most of the time, but it's as soon as any conversation came up, it was just kind of awkward. And the funny thing was that Naomi, bless her, was trying really hard to sort of actually do it properly, but just kept saying the wrong words all the time. So, water or something was, I said it was you say it it's lo, L apostrophe E-A-U, bo, and she's like, do. I was like,
bow.
The do.
Oh.
It's can I have, the sandwich? I don't know, it's all the syntax is all kinds of wrong, and it's just and I'm just sitting there going, then I just say it in English, and they're like, oh, right, okay.
Right, I got it now.
I kind of appreciate her for trying now. I can't really knock her, but it was kind of fun.
No, exactly. It's brave to try these things, but yeah. They all understand English, so it's I don't know. But I think they like it when you try, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, not all, but yeah, most, I guess. In Paris, especially, I suppose.
Yeah, it depends where you go. It's I should really tell the stories of the magnificent culinary delights that we sampled during the first couple of days. It's we were walking through Montmartre. We pretty much made it all the way to the Gare du Nord from Clichy, we were like, oh fuck, man, we've been in Paris for all this time. It's we haven't seen anywhere that seems to sell a croissant. It's what's going on? So we found somewhere that sold croissants and pain au chocolat, and turns out it was McDonald's.
What?
so the first thing we did...
you have to go in Paris. It's check out the...
Yeah, so pretty much one of the first things we did in Paris was to go to McDonald's and go to the... But they have this different concept. They have the main McDonald's, but then they have a separate counter called the McCafe.
Yeah,
serve,
that's quite common in Europe.
Smoothies and in this case, pain au chocolat.
An antivirus program.
Because McDonald's...
McAfee, not to be confused with a croissanterie.
Indeed. Croissanterie. So you did it with cheese.
Yes.
Royale with cheese.
So we did that, and they do serve mayo with pretty much everything. And but we did try the European equivalent to McDonald's, which is Quick Burger, and that was quite nice.
All right, that sounds pretty good.
They did something called the Max Pepper, and it's I must try it. And it's just basically a burger with super peppery sauce, black pepper. It's oh, this is really nice. So much pepper.
Pepper to the max.
I recommend a Quick Burger. Oh, we also went to Starbucks because they're everywhere.
They are everywhere. There's one inside the Forbidden City in Beijing.
Really?
Seriously, there's a Starbucks there. It's hilarious. And it's a communist nation. It's freaking crazy.
So yeah, we went. The one we went to was in the Louvre. But
oh right, yeah. How was the Louvre? I've never been around the Louvre. I've always I've been to the pyramid, the outside of it, and sat around at the fountains, but I've never actually been in and looked at it
was pretty cool.
Mona Lisa or whatever.
There's but it's kind of neat because there's a lot of really good art in there, and I mean a lot. But the problem is you end up sort of getting
jaded,
I don't know if it's really art fatigue or anything, but it's there's a good bit of art, there's a good bit of art, there's a good bit of art, and you just sort of start going, you stop appreciating it pretty quick because it's just walking through corridors with nice stuff on it, and you're just all right, that's some more.
What, you can't see any one thing can affect
well,
you?
Yeah, it's quite...
they're just all so good.
It's fairly dense as well, the sort of the picture dead to wall ratio is...
is high, right, yeah. I don't know why they do that. I suppose, if you've got so much space, I guess. Only so much space, but I prefer it when they space stuff out.
Yeah, Pompidou does that quite
can.
well. It's really spacious. You
that was good,
one picture per wall and stuff. But it's it was kind of cool. But the sort of no one really wanted to go see a few bits that were there, and like the Mona Lisa being a big thing. But it's like I don't get why you'd want to go there to see the real thing, because you don't really get to see the real thing.
Right.
You're miles away from it for a start. There's like a giant...
It's behind like bulletproof glass, is it?
There's a big old barrier. There's a massive bit of glass. There's like a weird platform in front of it as well that had some sort of device on it that I wonder is some kind of fancy laser grid or something.
Quite potentially, yeah.
But and then there's a massive crowd of people, all of them trying to take photos of it.
I know.
And you're just sort of like, what's the point of that? Your photo is going to be incredibly shit compared to the number of free versions you could probably find anywhere on the internet.
Yeah.
It's probably even on the pamphlet there's a better version of it than your photo.
It's just ridiculous. You could probably get like a massively blown up, perfect like poster copy, like in the gift shop, for like
exactly,
a couple of euros or something.
It's absolutely nuts. I really don't get it, and it's actually a relatively small painting as well.
It's not that big. Yeah.
So the distance and the crowds and the cameras and the blatant disregard for the no flash photography rule is like, it's just like you can't see fuck all. It's a real. If you're going to see the Mona Lisa, it's a waste of time. It's like,
that's kind of why I didn't like going. But I bet there's loads of other cool stuff.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of neat stuff that's not quite so big. Like the Venus de Milo's there, and there seems to be plenty of room to sort of walk around that and sort of and take it in, and then sort of almost have the same questions really, because we were just sitting there thinking, all right, that's pretty good. But why is it so much of a masterpiece compared to the rest of this stuff? This is all pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good question, isn't it? To know.
There's a lot of Roman people without noses.
With what?
With missing noses.
Oh, missing noses, yeah.
There was like a thing about that, wasn't there, or something? Like where at some point someone broke all the noses off? Like...
Is that what happened? I don't know.
It just seems like I was wondering if you knew more than anything. So it seemed like I seem to remember there was some story about someone breaking the noses off all the Roman shit.
No, I didn't know that story. Maybe that's true. Maybe it was like some kind of whole campaign of like, maybe the Vandals, that was their thing. Maybe that's why they're called Vandals. They had to break the noses off all the.
Maybe they broke the nose off of someone called Vandal.
Yeah, maybe. I just always assumed it was like the weakest point on like any kind of marble base, I suppose, is the nose.
Yeah.
It's like the nose gets knocked off. The
nose and the penis.
Yeah. But that gets knocked off too, right?
Oh, yeah. Many a knob is missing.
Many a missing knob. But a few that are still there. Marble knobs. That's what it's all about.
There's some good points. Definitely take a river cruise. That was quite nice. Just sort of a tour thing, giant boats of doom. You get to see like one of the most interesting things is they have these ridiculous ultra fancy boats that are like basically restaurants on water. Right. They just do a lap of the Seine, as it turns out, or something like, and you eat there and you have your fancy meal, and it's something like we heard it was like €80 a piece or something. Whoa. Like to go and eat on one of these, and they looked super swanky and stuff. But we couldn't help but wonder. It's like, well, if they're doing a lap of the Seine, then it takes about an hour on one of these boats. Yeah. Is like a really strict time period in which you must eat your meal or something? It's like, right,
that sounds quite
start
strict.
Now.
Yeah, 2 hours would be more reasonable, wouldn't it?
It's like for €80, I want to fucking stay on the boat all day.
Yeah, exactly.
And just start some kind of party, swinging my arms around, going, "I'm on a boat" or something. I want to call the shots.
Yeah, exactly. For that much.
But yeah, that was cool. What else did we do? Catacombs. Oh yeah, we because we're on a bit of a budget for this thing, given how much it fucking cost us to get there.
Yeah,
which is ludicrous cash, and the hotel wasn't cheap either, even though it was a bit shit.
No,
there was we went the second night. It's like, right, instead of going out for food, let's go to a supermarket and buy bread and cheese and stuff. And that was cool.
Okay, yeah, a proper supermarché, like
we got some nice,
really fresh, like French bread and stuff.
We got some nice French bread. We got some gorgonzola, I think it was, and some Saint Nectar, I think was the name of the other cheese. But it's and just had a cheese and bread night, which was pretty cool. Cheese and bread.
Awesome.
And we had so much butter, because that was the butter. The butter bit was the problem. So we bought this pack of. Conveniently, No managed to find like a pack of butter that was like all the little individually wrapped butter bits.
Oh right, yeah.
Like you get in like a buffet, and it's like so
Yeah.
you picked one of those up, and then of course we have a fuck ton of it left, so we brought it back. It's like we're wondering.
Got loads of little.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit of
butters.
butter. We're just wondering if it was one of those stupid things that the customs officer sort of looks at it, and if we bought one of those like tubs of like utterly butterly or something, and it would be like sat there in the bag going, right, what the fuck is that? That looks like C4. It's like just opens it up and it's like, why would you buy butter? You could bring anything back, and you've brought back butter.
Mm. Yeah, of all the things. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the cunning plan, though, of where to hide your explosives. In the butter.
In the butter, yeah. Just to disguise it
in the
as
butter.
some... Lure pack, that's the one I was trying to think of. I was trying to go into an explanation of, what's that butter with the trombone? I just want to know you don't get a trombone with your butter if you buy lure pack.
All right, yeah.
So you really should. Be like a Kinder Surprise.
Indeed.
For butter.
Except with explosives.
An exploding trombone surprise.
Oh, God. Yeah. That's the future of terrorism right there. Exploding butters and trombone surprises.
Trombones.
Right, so that's Paris, pretty much.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
I'm back. Hello.
It's a good time. Okay.
I learned nothing.
You learned nothing.
I regret nothing.
I regret it.
And now is the time you get to enjoy my celebratory, for some reason, beer opening.
Ah, indeed.
Zachary
Right,
Burgess.
this is a video game podcast. Woo! Where's Zachary Burgess?
Oh, I have to say, I did see some pinball tables while I was in Paris, but I was nice. I thought, I'm on holiday here with Naomi. I'm not going to waste her time by playing these Monster Bash tables that look really cool.
I think, yeah, that was a noble sacrifice, I'm sure. Awesome.
But it's like, but they had pinball.
Yeah.
The French still have
Where did
pinball.
they have that?
Like in just random
French
cafes.
Oh, really?
Random cafes on the side of the road had Monster Bash.
Right, in a way that we just don't.
Anymore. No.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Maybe it's
There you
more
go.
common than we thought.
The French have a point to them.
That's the point of the French, right?
Well
Occasional
played,
people say,
monsieur.
"What
Well
is
played."
it?" Oh, well played, indeed. Yes, indeed. Where is Zeg? I haven't heard from him for a while.
Resting.
No. He's resting. Right. Are your eyes open now?
Stop talking.
Because it's time for news.
You.
Has there been any?
Do I need to do this with Echo?
That's the question.
You.
You can. You may.
There you
Oh,
go.
wow. Awesome. Yeah. No. Do I? Oh, right. What's been going on? The BioWare Doctor dudes have decided to leave BioWare. Sorry, here.
Wait, but define the BioWare Doctor.
Doctor dudes. They're like two brothers,
Ray
I think,
and Dr.
or something.
I can't remember the other.
Yeah. And they were medical
I
doctors.
was about to say
and
Dr.
they
Nick.
were
That's probably not right.
Hi, everybody.
yeah, they were like MDs in Canada, and they were like, "Sod this, let's make video games," and they founded BioWare. And now they're
Which is
leaving.
why
That's why
it's
it was
called
called.
BioWare.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
Because they
indeed.
actually started
So,
programming medical software. And then they were like, wait,
Yeah.
we can make games instead, that's much cooler.
Do you
let's
reckon
just
they
make
made
Baldur's
some kind
Gate.
of biological simulation that looked a bit like asteroids or something? And so,
Potentially.
like some kind of sperm sim that ended up being, this is kind of fun.
I don't even know what their first game was. I keep thinking Baldur's Gate, but maybe there's something before that stuff.
Let's have a look. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Use the power of the internet. Yes, so that's that news. So I don't know what that means for the future of BioWare. Probably milking the Mass Effect cash cow.
Oh, yeah, you'll keep
series
it
of
for the
bad
name.
games. Yeah,
Because that's pretty much what they've done.
Well, they've already,
isn't
like-
it? Yeah.
yeah, they've already split the BioWare name into a bunch of studios or something, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's
It's like a whole. Well, according to the wiki, it's now a whole. It's considered a whole division of EA. Presumably, like EA Sports is a division of EA.
Now BioWare's a division. Yeah, pretty much. Because they did.
Their first game was Shattered Steel, which was a mech game on DOS.
Okay, that was a while ago.
And Mac in 1996.
And how long until Baldur's Gate? When was that?
That was their second game in 1998.
Oh, okay. There you go. I wonder what
And then weirdly, I didn't realise this, but apparently BioWare were in control of MDK2, but not MDK1.
Yeah, well, MDK1 was like shiny, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. Yes, it would have been. Yeah.
Dave Perry.
Before shiny took a nosedive.
Yeah, exactly. I had that stupid ad campaign with all the like possible things that MDK could stand for, other than what it really stood for. That's kind of hilarious.
Did it ever actually have a real meaning, MDK?
Yeah, it's for murder, death, kill.
Was that actually it, or was that one of the one of the possibilities?
No, that was actually it, supposedly. Like they didn't put that in the adverts, but that was what it meant and stood for. But you know, it was a dumb game. It wasn't like a serious game, was it? So.
No, it was always meant as
and didn't it supposedly invent the sniper rifle, right?
Supposedly.
Like before
for video games, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. So,
Sniper mode.
And any other news?
News! Guess what?
What?
Platinum Games news.
Oh, yes.
There will be a sequel to Bayonetta.
Oh, yeah. And isn't it Wii U exclusive or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It's like, the good news is that Platinum Games found a publisher for Bayonetta. So it's like, the weird news is that it was Nintendo themselves.
Nintendo? That seems odd. But yeah, okay, fair enough.
I thought it was
I
on
wonder what
Sega.
they'll do with the screen.
Yeah, I think Sega...
Yeah,
Sega had the first one, but I don't think they picked up I don't think they wanted to make a sequel.
I thought I saw the Sega logo on the preview video of Bayonetta 2. Maybe I'm not remembering that right. But that would make sense because Sega make shit on Nintendo, so...
Well, true.
It go?
Sega have done a few exclusives, haven't they, for Ninty? Like Colours, for instance, Sonic Colours.
Indeed.
But yeah,
okay.
I thought, Platinum are closely tied to Sega, but I thought there was something like, and maybe it's not Sega's fault. Maybe there was there's some reason, like something fell apart that meant that it couldn't be released on, that that Nintendo had to step in to save the project.
Yeah, but
I thought it was that they lost publishing rights and that Ninty picked it up.
Nintendo must be throwing their weight behind it if it's like going to be. Is it going to be like a launch title? That's quite soon. Though.
I don't know. Probably not. It's probably launch window. Have that.
Right.
That
launch window. That 6 to 12 month window.
Yeah. He's been suggesting that their launch window is going to last until like March or May or one of the M months. I can't remember. I wasn't paying that much attention to that news story either.
December.
Wii U comes out in November sometime.
December, indeed. Yeah. Other news, sad news for Rob this week. Hang on,
just to clarify. Sorry, I looked up the this is live wiki action. Apparently, Sega are still the franchise owners, but are only an advisory role. They are not publishing.
Okay. So Nintendo are publishing.
Ninty are doing the publishing role. So I was kind of right.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you're right. It was cool. So yes, the Res dude, what's his name? The guy who did Lumines and the music.
Fuck, I can't remember his name. Is it Mizuguchi?
Something. Mizuguchi. Yeah, he's retiring from making games. He's going to.
No.
Yeah. After Child of Eden, because yeah. So bad news. Sorry for Rob. Had to bring that one up.
That's bummed my evening right there.
Yeah, sorry, man.
That guy's a legend.
Yeah, he is a legend, pretty much. I don't know if he could ever like top. Although Lumines and like Res both awesome.
Apparently, the new Lumines is really good. You know, sort of like
I don't think he was that involved in that one. The Electronic Symphony. I think he was like advisory rather than like deeply involved.
So I suppose the bigger question here is, what does this mean for Q games in general? Like,
indeed.
If someone else has taken over Lumines, as you know, then they've shown that they can do a good one without Mizuguchi, maybe that they.
Yeah.
But it's like, where are the new ideas going to come from? He pretty much made every idea that they have.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how they fare without their main man.
It's like even Meteos, damn it, which wasn't particularly a music game, really, but you know, that's Mizuguchi, damn it.
Indeed, it is.
Oh.
So
does it? Oh, yeah. Are we going to not see a Child of Eden too?
Oh. I don't know. Well, that probably wasn't going to happen.
Adult of Eden.
It sold that well, did it? I don't know.
No, probably not. It probably sold enough. I think. I don't think they were looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe, but like, I don't know. It's probably one of the best games for Kinect, right?
Yeah, I actually went back and played
Kinect
that again recently.
All right, yeah.
I just sort of had it's one of those games like Res where every now and then you just get the urge, you know. It's the tunes are so good and it's, you know, the gameplay quite catchy and stuff like that. And then, you know, the visuals so ridiculous that it's just like, you know, I want to see that again. It's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Panzer Dragoon kind of has the same effect for me. It's like,
that's a good. Panzer Dragoon Auto is such a weird book game. Like in a really
the setting is utterly
way.
bizarre.
It's bonkers, but kind of awesome. In a kind of like, I don't know.
I need to dig my.
It actually
disc
has
out
a kind of a plot that like kind of actually makes sense in like a twisted, crazy, mad.
The plot
way.
is kind of the plot is kind of bigger than the part that you play. It's like the world is ridiculously rich for a game of that type. And it's like, and you know, so I don't think as you play the game, you really get the full picture. You know, there's a lot of like, what just happened? Who's that guy? What's going on?
Yeah.
But there is a backstory there. If you wanted to find out, you can. And, you know, to the point where I think Auto had that ridiculous encyclopedia, didn't it? It was like, here's pretty much everything you need to know.
And it had like tons of like old videos from like previous games in the series and stuff, and like little bits of. Like
you
had
could see
videos
cinematics from the first two.
From the RPG.
Yeah.
Because there was an Panzer RPG, and they had a bunch of stuff from that. I think that must have developed the world.
But Panzer Dragoon Saga, it's crazy rare now. If you want to try and get hold of it, it's worth megabucks.
Yeah. Crazy.
Panzer Dragoon, come back,
yes.
damn it. But that was a Smile Bit, wasn't it, that did Auto?
Yeah.
Who are now kind of dead. Because they also did Jet Set Radio.
Speaking of which
has now come out on Steam!
Come out on Steam in HD. It still looks like awesome and really quite annoying to control and avoid the cops, because it's really hard to do.
I've downloaded the Xbox demo, because it's out on Xbox as well, and I think I think the PSN version has been released as well. Just not got around to trying it yet to see how it handles. From what I've seen of it, it's like apparently the Xbox version is rated as being 1080p, which is quite nice because not many Xbox things are.
Cool,
which is cool. But it's like I know that you can't really do much, I suppose, with some games that are that highly stylized. But I was kind of expecting more of a textured jump, if you know what I mean. Like, because they said it was like fully remastered, and it's like, well, it's not really. It's kind of the same game they've just re-released. Yeah. You know, it's not like the Tony Hawk's.
That's
thing.
like new engine, isn't it, Tony Hawk?
Yeah. But they've completely redone the game. It's just the same game re-released, which is it's still no bad thing. You know, it's just a radio.
Yeah.
And more people are going to be able to play it because of this. But it's like, I was kind of hoping they'd done a bit of an upgrade to it.
Yeah, that would have been better, I guess.
Well, they probably upgraded like sprites and stuff, like for the HUD, I guess, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because that would look
and like you can like control the camera with the other analog stick now.
Okay, that's cool.
Didn't have a right.
No, it didn't, and that was really annoying in places of that. Lining up jumps was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, so they fixed that sort of.
That's good.
By like that, yeah. Although apparently the center view button is still the same as the tag button.
Oh right, yeah.
Like it used to be. So Although I think you can turn it off, so you have to use the...
I did also read that despite our
that's
initial worries, they managed to keep 29 of the 30 tracks in the music.
Oh, no, that's pretty good.
Which begs the question, which one's missing?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like, I'm trying to think of like high contenders, because there was the biggest name I can think of that was in there was Jurassic 5.
Yeah. Well, is that in there? I haven't heard it.
Improvise was in the original.
Oh yeah, Improvise was in the original.
It was whenever there was a story segment and one of those sort of like a comic book sort of pan, there'd be the Improvise, the instrumental was playing in the background, and it's so I wonder if that's the one that's gone, because it's it's up there really in terms of the.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I can't really think what else would go, because it's like there's a lot of the other artists had multiple tracks in there.
Yeah, like Guitar Vader and all that.
Yeah. The Reps, who did that Bout the Town song I suggested, might have gone, but... because they only had that one.
Do that, listen to the music, that one.
Do up, yeah, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that was cool. I hope that's in there.
They couldn't have dropped Naganuma, because he did the whole bloody soundtrack. So.
No, yeah, of course. I'm sure they got all of his stuff.
I suppose there's... I don't know if Jean-Jacques something or other did more than one. I can only think of one of his in there. He probably must have had more.
Yeah.
Because he must have had more, because he got involved in Future as well. But yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's here.
Yeah,
and it's, it'll be interesting. I haven't read any reviews or any kind of like impressions on it though, so it'll be interesting to see how it's been received.
Let us listen to the music and identify the beats.
Guess what?
Or something like that.
Guess what news I'm about to give you?
I can't guess. I have no idea.
I do this every week. Yes, Laggy Dan just said Pinball Arcade news, I'm assuming. Pinball Arcade news. So there's been some problems in the iOS update cycle, so the next two updates, hence why it's been so long since there's been an update, so the next two will get bundled together, blah-de-blah-de-blah. The other sort of news that they've announced is that the PC version is apparently ready and they're negotiating with Steam right now.
Wow, awesome. Okay. Is that like a main Steam, not like a Steam Greenlight thing, I suppose? That's like,
no. It's probably going to get a proper release, but yeah.
Proper release, okay. Nice, okay. Well,
they've been promising that.
You've already got like two versions of this. Or like,
well, no, I only actually have bought tables on the iPad. It's like...
Right, okay.
Because the version I've done on the Xbox is that Williams collection.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
So yeah, I wonder what model it'll take on the PC.
Yeah, well, that's kind of ripe for some good discounts in sales, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like, buy a load of pinball tables, awesome.
Oh, I wonder if it'll come out with the everything pack or something. And...
yeah, probably. That'd be...
So yeah, Pinball Arcade news, I'm done. I won't talk about it anymore.
Okay.
This week.
Zach, you got any other news? He's like resting.
I don't know. I don't think the Wii U thing was the only thing that I remembered.
What else is there about Wii U other than like Bayonetta 2?
Press conferencey thing, so it's just like the price.
Oh yeah, the price and stuff came out. Yeah.
Oh right, and the prices are reasonable, right?
I guess
not they're not great. They're not terrible, but they're not brilliant.
Well, they're going to be bad. Going to be worse for us, clearly, because Europe always gets shitty prices.
That's true. Even announced the UK price.
I don't think they did. I only heard of the Japanese one and the US one.
It's like
and isn't it coming out in the US before Japan or something? That's quite unusual.
Yeah, I think they said that. I can't remember.
The current word on the street is like they haven't. You might be right, Zach. I think I'm not sure they've released official word on it, but sort of like the rough conversion rate sort of suggests that it will be £250 for the 8GB version, and a premium bundle which has a 32GB version for £50 more. Okay,
that makes sense.
And which
£50, so
has some
£300.
equivalent, which sounds like it has some equivalent of like Xbox Live or PSN service associated with it, in that you get some sort of subscription which will give you like bonuses and discounts and stuff.
Oh, right, okay.
But you get that bundle with the premium edition.
Okay.
They haven't, but it does look like Nintendo Land isn't going to be a pack-in. Nothing's been said.
Really?
Or like nothing. I
Weird.
haven't seen anything about Nintendo Land being a pack-in.
But they did so well with like Wii Sports being a pack-in.
It's going to be
Nintendo Land is
Surprised that they went.
Well, yeah, probably, but it's like you need. I think the console needs one of those introduction to the controls games.
Yeah,
Like,
probably.
just give it to you.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do pack it in. That does seem like the obvious thing to do.
Well, yeah, but then you're looking,
Who's
because
gonna
if you
buy
don't,
that?
you're looking at a £300 outset even for the normal version, which doesn't sound that appealing.
No, doesn't at all. No. I wonder what's going to happen with this thing. Although, like, people flock to the Wii, so who knows? I don't know. I don't know what people are like. Freaking crazy.
Yeah, it's hard to judge the casual market, isn't it? Because it doesn't work under the same stats as the rest of us, I suppose.
No.
They totally boned it up though, because the whole idea of Wii Sports was like it was sports, and it's like everyone knows these stupid sports games, and so everyone play it. But Nintendo Land is like not everyone knows what Nintendo even is, really. I mean, people call things
true.
Nintendo that aren't Nintendo all the time. Old people.
Well,
like,
I'm not sure that's so true anymore, but it used to, didn't it? It's like when they associate the name Nintendo with some sort of gadget you'd hold in your hand.
Yeah, but Nintendo Land doesn't mean anything to like casual gamers. It's like, what does that mean? It means it's based on all these Nintendo products that you've never fucking heard of.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because Wii Sports was quite clever that it didn't have any like Nintendo characters in, and it just had the memes.
I guess it made it more accessible in a strange way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nintendo Land
we
seems
think
to
nothing
play
of,
on the classic Nintendo nostalgia factor, which they've been doing for 20 years now?
Yeah, they've been doing it for... What version of Mario Party are they on now? Like Mario Party 15 or some shit?
9.
9.
Probably more than 9.
Well.
No, I think it's 9, because 8 was the only one that... They released 2 on Wii. There was 8 and 9 came out on Wii. And they're probably making 10 for Wii U as we speak.
Wii. Yeah, I mean, that could be cool. I mean, like, do you see that Penny Arcade where he's just like, well, the obvious thing to do with the Wii U is like, all these guys are like playing Dungeons and Dragons, and the guy with the pad is like the dem.
That's a pretty cool idea.
And he's like, yeah, you can have that one for free, Nintendo. Freaking do it. Yeah. So,
That would be kind of cool, actually. That's a neat idea for the... Yeah, because that's a pretty damn good example of the whole asynchronous multiplayer thing.
Yeah, I think, I mean, that could work. I mean, you could do
Asynchronous or
something similar.
Asymmetric multiplayer, sorry.
Asymmetric, yeah. Yeah, you can imagine something like, I don't know, like Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles or something, but with like a DM type character who was like throwing in.
Yeah, that could be kind of funny, actually.
Yeah.
And just to really fuck with you, I'm going to throw in some ghosts, which you have to dual cast some kind of combination of powers to form holy on in order to hurt. Oh, no, you bastard!
It could be hilarious. So you never know. They may prove the concept with a few games. The thing is, it's not going to be... Most games are just going to be, like, worse-looking ports of, like, next-generation games, like, ultimately. Probably.
I still
I mean, like, I'm not excited.
I bet me still thinks they should just use DSs.
Yeah.
They never did that, did they? It's like, it seems like the obvious choice, surely.
Yeah, you had the Wi-Fi and everything, and everyone had a DS. Now it's all split because people have the 3DS.
Well, true. Yeah, it might be better off. But, you could theoretically target either, I guess. But they might not update the OS of the old DS.
That's true.
Deal with it, I suppose. Deal with it.
Can they, like, push updates to, like, the 3DS, like, over the air, or...
I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's slightly
the modern
more.
way.
Well, they might have been able to do it since the DSi, in fairness, but seeing as I haven't really dipped into DS lag since the original.
So they can like come in and like screw up your application completely, so it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Speaking of which, iOS 6 dropped.
Woo! Yes. Have you fiddled with the maps? Like,
yeah, a little bit. I mean,
they're pretty, but they're useless. They're really bad. Like, I mean, you can see, it's quite funny. You can see the kind of algorithms they've used to try and work out what businesses are, like the automatic stuff. Like, there must be something in Cambridge Town Centre, like near Trinity College, right, that has the word total. It must be a clothes shop. So it goes, Total, and labels it as a, as a petrol station, like right in the middle of Cambridge. Like, what? I don't know. And also, I tried to do like a route between, to work, the walking directions, and it takes you the long way. And it's like immediate fail, basically. Like, as an actual, like, it's a nice app. Like, it looks cool.
Well, yeah, and it doesn't actually work any different from the old app, is the thing. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. They just seem to have ballsed up kind of the fundamental part of it. The
actual data is poor, and it's not clear.
Well, and the weird thing is it worked with TomTom to build that in the UK.
Yeah.
It's like, and TomTom's data can't be that bad. Really?
No, I'm sure it's pretty good.
Like,
no, there's something wrong with it, like the importing or something. Because, like, I mean, I haven't actually looked, but Peter Works said the A14 didn't appear on the bloody thing, and it's like, what?
That's kind of extreme.
Check that, but
well, to be honest, I'm pissed off with this simply because it's another one of those shitty Apple things where they've like nobbled old handsets for no reason.
Yeah. It's like you're on the 4, right?
I'm on a 4, yeah. So I already don't have Siri, for instance, and things like that, which I was a bit miffed about with the last update, because it's purely and you can hear the Siri noises in the background as no one plays with a phone.
So I can.
The only sort of, there's no reason for it not to be on the iPhone 4 because all of the bloody computation is done off your phone anyway. It sends it over the internet. So, that's a dumb thing that it can't do anyway. So they've also taken out the turn-by-turn navigation
artificial
on the iPhone 4 for no reason at all, given that the fact that sat-nav apps exist and work fine, and Siri's voice is already on the fucking phone because they changed it so all the voice recognition stuff works using Siri's voice when it reads out calling Zachary Burgess, as it does.
They're just kicking around. I mean,
it's so annoying because it's totally
willful.
It's totally deliberate because it means that it's to give you another kick to actually update when given the 5 lineup in terms of like spec and stuff is really kind of meh. A fairly large,
it's not
cavernous, epic.
Probably
meh.
A nice phone, but like,
but there's not much this time to make me go, wow, I want it. Like the jump to the 4 was like immediately, wow, look at that screen. This time it's like, wow, it's
the Retina display was great,
taller. Yeah.
Few more pixels, woo.
And EA. The weird thing is that EA were quite keen to say, hey, look, we can do pretty good games on this now, and it's like, well, you could. It doesn't really change anything. Yeah, they'll probably look a bit prettier, but it's like you're still stuck with the same control schemes and stuff. So you'll be making the same games. It changes nothing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's just
it's a bit poopy. Like,
it's super annoying, is what it is. It's just
like
there's no reason for me not to have this functionality. So why haven't you given it to me, you bastards?
Yeah. Well, at least they're actually getting negative press for the maps thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was on the front page of BBC News that, like, everyone was pissed off. And it's like, it's warranted because they did it deliberately. Like, I know why they were doing it, but they must have known when they were about to release it that they were going to get a whole bunch of negative press.
Maybe. Unless they didn't really know that it was bad, then that seems crazy.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, yeah,
well,
the iPad, the iPad 3 has some mistakes as well. Like, I bought I have the most recent iPad, and that can't do turn by turn. Not that you'd want it, but some people have built like cradles for your iPad for your car, and it's somehow. Presumably not over the windscreen, but I guess like over the dash or something.
Yeah.
And it's and that doesn't do turn by turn either. For some generic, for some ridiculous arbitrary reason, you can't do it on there either. It's like, well, it's just crazy. Why hold back?
Done.
So anyway, I'm tempted by Lumia now. Like the Lumia 920 looks pretty cool.
Well, isn't there like because I guess you've now got Lumia versus the like HTC handset that they've just announced for Windows Phone.
Yeah, I think the Lumia's still going to win.
Like, it looks almost the same.
But you get more stuff on the Nokia ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, they've got custom stuff. Like, Nokia Maps are really good, actually, apparently.
Yeah, apparently their sat nav's pretty damn awesome.
Yeah. And then, well, it's got, like, tech that the iPhone doesn't have, right? So it's got, like, wireless charging and NFC and, like, something else. But it's really got, like, camera.
The PureView camera range or something is supposed to be the best in its field at the moment, and while they've improved the new 5s, it's unknown whether it's better. It's probably not better than the although the Lumia's not only got a little bit. It hasn't got the same PureView camera tech, but it's still supposedly really good.
I got the impression the 5's camera was identical to the 4S, and all they did was put like a sapphire cover over it instead of glass.
It's supposed to be like 20% smaller, isn't it, or something? Like the lens and the TCD is supposed to be a bit smaller.
Well, I guess the actual phone, the actual phone is thinner, so it probably needs to have different optics, I guess.
But potentially, yeah, that's probably the reason. But anyway, yeah, there's that. Kind of annoying, but. That's Apple. It's not anything new. They've always done it. So it's just.
I am annoyed though, because it really does cut back on something I actually use with the maps.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, actually, most annoyingly of all for me, it's like fuck the maps. It's like I can deal with the maps. It's just like, but the most annoying thing for me is it makes Bejeweled stutter periodically.
Yeah.
Can't get my Bejeweled on properly.
That really sucks. That's like. What the hell? How could they downgrade you on, like, Bejeweled performance? That's like...
it's outrageous. Although, in fairness, quite a lot about the rest of the phone seems to be running faster, which is nice. Because my phone was starting to slow down a bit, and the update seems to have, like, cleaned it somehow, so it's running a bit better than it used to. But there's some weird, like, design inconsistencies as well. Like, I'm not sure I like some of the new menu stuff where it looks a bit Windows 95-ish in places, with the sort of etched 3D... borders.
Yeah.
How they used to do.
Strange.
It's like a lot of it's gone that way. It's like the design seems to be suffering. Some places have gone, some bits of the UI have gone black when they used to be white, and some other bits of the UI have gone white when they used to be black. It's like, they haven't made up their fucking minds. It doesn't seem like, well, developing this thing.
I think I might have just found like a bug. I don't know if it's just on my one. Maybe you could check it on yours. If you go to the timer app, right? The clock, go to the timer. If you go,
which I've also added to
10
iPad,
minutes,
by the way, because it wasn't there on iPad before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So if you go to and say the 10 minutes, or whatever, and start the countdown, it looks fine. But if you then add an hour, so make it like 2 hours 10 minutes, my one is displaying like H:2:09A.
Wait, how do you do that? How do you add the timer once you've started it? Wait, so what did you do?
Well, timer's on the right.
Alright, so you set the 10 minutes.
I just set a timer for like
1 hour 10.
I just set it to 2 hours 10 minutes. Yeah, the 1 hour 10, and started it. And it just reads completely wrong.
Okay.
Maybe there's a bug, but your one's fine. Okay.
Yeah, mine's
Maybe
fine.
I need to reset this thing or something, but it's like totally busted.
Live iPhone fuckery.
Like that before. So yes, iPhone fails going on. That's going actually. Anyway, never mind. Right, we should talk more about games, I guess.
In other Bejeweled news, we couldn't help but notice, like Zach and I last night when we were watching a bit of telly, there was an advert for the new lottery scratch card, which is Bejeweled based, and it's like my instant reaction was, "Oh shit!"
Oh shit! Okay,
feeding into my addiction.
Yeah, you're gonna be. They're going to start you on the gambling now.
No.
Oh, dear.
Just no.
No. Just no. Just say no.
Hard to match 3 if you can't swap the tiles because they're already placed.
Oh, right, okay. That's true.
How does that even work?
I don't know. It's just a dumb theme. Right. Zach.
Video games.
Video games.
Zachary Burgess.
Wake
What
up.
have you been playing?
Too much stuff.
Super Restathon.
What?
Super Restathon 2012.
Yeah, clearly. Taking a break. Good time for you guys to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, let's get you back off the bench and like get into the game with like what you've been playing in terms of games.
Indeed. What? So, me and Rob played more Guild Wars 2.
Naturally.
Indeed.
One. That would have been done. I don't know if there's anything else to say about that. I guess we didn't really get any further because we didn't actually play it very much this entire 2 weeks.
No, we've played it. Well, I've not been here for 4 days, so that's...
Well, that's 1 week.
Yeah, that took 1 week out of action. But it's like, I'm still up to 30 hours now in like a couple of weeks, which is relatively good for me in game progression, like in terms of time invested. I say good. It's bigger.
More.
Yeah.
I played some more of that, I guess. Did some actual sort of PvP, I guess. The world versus world thing. Not really PvP. Not PvP.
But team versus team, or
Yes. Other people exist,
Yeah.
and we fight them. Apart from
and you shoot them.
apart from just like Eve, it's the just big piles of people. There's never any like standoffs or anything. You just look at the number of people that are coming over the hill, and then you immediately know whether you're fucked or not, and then you just run away.
They're like, okay, I'll just assess this number of people. Yeah, that crowd's too large.
It's like there's
Literally.
more people than we have.
Immediately.
We're going to lose, so let's just leave.
It's just, it's brilliant.
Just go somewhere else on the map and steal that instead.
Yeah, that's basically what there was one.
Is there no
particular-
way to beat the odds?
Well, I mean, the whole idea of having like castles to defend does give you like you can have fewer defenders that
Advantage,
actually
yeah.
defend against a larger number of attackers in theory. But it was just like there was one evening where well, our team had basically been destroying the other 2 teams for quite a while, so we had like most of all of the maps. But then we're like, oh no, the other servers have started waking up and getting a team together and taking things. And then we spent like 2 hours where it was just like, our team would take this one thing, and then we'd move on to the next thing, and then we'd move on to the next thing. And then like 2 steps behind us, the entire enemy team was just taking back everything we'd just taken, and we were just like moving in a constant circle around this bit of the map.
Go make sure we stay ahead. Otherwise we're
Round in
boned.
circles.
But it's like, that's sort of an inherent problem in the world versus world setup, because you have like the defendable castles or whatever, and this is an extremely long and annoying train,
Come.
and that's done. You have these defendable castles or whatever, and like, it's like you get supply camps, and then they send caravans to the castles to restock their supply, and then you use the supply for upgrading them or building defences or building catapults or whatever. But like, you can upgrade the buildings, like you can have cannons or whatever on the ramparts, and you can upgrade the walls or the gates so they're stronger. But when you take when like you bust in and take it, it resets it to like the lowest level. So there's when you're in this situation where you're basically taking something and then the enemies are just coming up behind you and taking it again, there's never any chance for anyone to upgrade, so it's always incredibly easy to take them, so you can never actually make a defense at any point, because their giant blob arrives before any upgrades can be done.
Oh, okay.
So all the supply just gets used up, and then it's just like all these like certain group of castles are never going to get upgraded because they're just constantly switching hands, so no one actually has time to get supply in there and upgrade. It's kind of dumb.
So do they just need to tweak it then?
I don't know.
Like,
it's like
give
it's
defenders more
okay for
time.
having like a constant fight I guess that's better than like not doing anything or just like grinding against one castle for a long time would kind of suck, I guess. You want to actually have some achievement where you're like, oh, we captured it.
And then you just go round and round in circles, like capturing.
I mean, it would kind of make more sense if they didn't like just totally reset all the upgrades. It's like maybe if it kept like some of the upgrades, like or if it half the upgrades or something. Right. Like you busted through this gate, so it's fucked, but it's still slightly stronger than the default gate or something. Just to make it so that it just doesn't totally reset everything every time. But the only reason I was on there was to complete the monthly.
But is it fun?
It's okay. I don't know. I don't play it right, as always. It's like my kind of PvP skills of non-existentness, where I'm just like, I'm going to do stupid things like sitting on the wall and trying to shoot people and then like running the fuck away and all this weird dumb crap. Not actually fighting in a field. I don't like getting in the big like mass of dudes because it's just really kind of not that interesting. Run up and shoot a door.
Yeah,
until it breaks. I was only in there for the monthly achievements, where it's like you have to kill a certain number of World versus World players every month to get the monthly achievements. That's the only PvP part of that monthlies. Oh, they just give you another pile of shitty Mystic coins for the Mystic Forge that I don't care about. It's just like, that was really disappointing the first time I actually completed the monthly achievements. I was like, the monthly achievements are really hard. It's like you have to do all this stuff, where it's like the main thing that's hardest in the monthly achievements is probably like you have to get quite a lot of experience without dying.
Right.
So you have to grind out, like, well, not really grind, you just have to not die for a long time to get as much experience, or you can just craft, I guess, 'cause as I discovered, it's like, you get so much experience from crafting, actually you can do that part of the achievement relatively quickly, if you just have a lot of crafting materials.
Yeah.
But yeah,
just
all
good,
this effort
keep
of
crafting.
monthly achievements, I was like, it's got to be something awesome, because like when you complete a map, when you discover all the areas and complete all the missions on one of the map areas, you get like 2 green items and then like 40 crafting materials. But then in the monthly achievements, it's just like mystic coins. I don't care about mystic coins.
Brilliant.
I'd care more if I could.
Forge.
Yeah, I'd care more if I could be bothered to look up and see what it does.
Oh, right. Do you not even know?
Well, I know, like, what me and Rob have been using before. I know its basic function where it's just like you can chuck in 4 random things of the same, like, rarity, and it mashes them together and makes one more random thing, which can sometimes be of a higher rarity. So it's like, it's a way to turn your shitty things into slightly less shitty things sometimes, or just get another thing.
I've had a couple of good results out of it, but they're quite often, like, annoyingly, the good results I get out of it tend to be quite a long way ahead of my current level. So it's like, oh, I've got to stash that for later then.
Not too bad, though.
No. Well, most of the time it's a pile of crap.
Yeah, but it's a good way to get rid of all the, like, shitty stuff that it's a good way to get rid of the massive pile of iron daggers that you make when you're crafting, leveling up your crafting. It's like you throw them all over in the forge and get some different shit.
I see. Yeah, well, it's not the worst build mechanic. I don't know. Just shove
I think it'd be okay if you could mix anything with anything, because it has like some rules and that this you can't, if you're putting this item in, these items don't work and that kind of stuff.
Well, it's not very specific on the rules. It's basically like greens only combine with other greens and blues only combine with blues. You can't do different rarities and combine them together. But there doesn't seem to be any limit on like item type, or very, very rarely there is. So that's okay. And that's more or less it.
See.
I still haven't finished the actual storyline. I must be relatively close. I'm in like the last map area.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
How much gameplay time then on that character up to like the end?
Oh, I don't know, 100 and something.
You said 150 the other night.
I don't think it was 50. I think it was 30.
Okay.
Maybe, I can't remember.
130.
It's basically 4 or 5 times the amount of time I've put in so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
So there's been quite a lot of time where I've been... Well, I guess there was all that World versus World time. That counts to some of it. but also there's like the end of the game kind of sucks. Spoilers.
Spoiler alert, it sucks.
Well, it's like the last area of the last sort of 3 areas of the map, because the whole story is like the Elder Dragon turns up and then like that lost continent ore rises out of the sea and creates a tidal wave which fucks everyone up and all this shit. And then you have to go into ore because there's a giant death dragon there that's making loads of undead minions all the time and fucking everything up. But then it's like when you go in, you're coming towards the end of the game, you go into this ore continent, and it's like we're going into this destroyed continent and everything. It just really sucks because like firstly you're just going to be fighting a million zombies for like the whole rest of the game. It's like all you get is just more. Here's another dead guy, and here's another dead guy, and here's another dead guy, and oh wait, here's a dead bird. Gasp! Undead animals.
God, that's really boring after all that like variety that you've had like up to that point, I guess.
Yeah, it was just like
it's just undead things.
That kind of sucks. And then of course, because it's been like this entire continent has been under the sea for ages, it doesn't look very interesting. It's like, well, here's some sort of giant corally thing, but it's all just sort of vaguely brown and muddy.
Yeah.
It was just like, well, this kind of sucks because this whole like last area.
After the like.
And then, like, the third problem with it is, like, it's fucking broken. It's like,
okay.
There's almost always at least, like, 1 or 2 of the skill challenges in each map area is somehow broken and you can't do it. So you can't complete the map and get the 100% completion. Because something has bugged out somewhere and got stuck. And it's like, God damn it, again! Kind of sucks.
We saw that around
just...
where I am, didn't we? With like a few things not working and.
Well, there was that one particular one that we came across.
There's a few
one of the skill challenges got jammed somehow. Although that one was weird.
That cleared up eventually.
Yeah, you have to get a guardian to go over there and fix it or something because they have a skill that could do something to fix it somehow. I don't know. It wasn't entirely clear what that actually was. But apparently it might be guardians that are actually the problem, because I think the main way that these skill challenges get bugged is when guardians use one of their skills does a lot of knockback, and I think if you knock back the enemies out of the skill zone too far, they don't like reset properly when you complete it. So guardians doing the skill challenges after the server has restarted bugger it up, and then it just gets stuck forever until the server restarts again.
That's a bit crap.
That's one of the things you think that they would have thought of. It's like, surely the obvious thing to do in this kind of situation would be just have some kind of background tracking mechanism where it's like, this skill point hasn't been completed by anyone for like 5 hours. Maybe we should look at that.
Maybe we should check into
Maybe we should just automatically reset it even.
Yeah, I mean, I've literally like implemented something like that on our stuff at work. It's like, yeah, if it doesn't work, reset it. If it doesn't work again, send us an email.
But yeah, that kind of sucks.
I mean, it seems obvious, right?
But that's the end of Guild Wars 2. Oh, and I also
But what about the story, though, man?
Yeah,
how's the sweep of the story?
Well, it's kind of weird because after the personal story stuff at the start, and you get in, and then you get put into one of the orders, and then you do some more bigger battles against undead again. And then you start the invasion of the Ore continent or whatever. I don't know. That story is kind of okay, kind of obvious in some ways, where it's just like, oh, that guy was a traitor. What a surprise!
Yeah, but at least it sounds like it actually has some amount of story that you care about and follow, rather than the first game where it's just like, I don't remember any of it really.
No,
other
you
than
don't
Ascalon
remember
gets
any of it,
fucked, and that's pretty much all I know. It's
that's like, not indicative of anything. That doesn't.
No, it's because it's shit. It's like it's not engaging in any way. The story in the first Guild Wars. It's just like stuff happens, and you're just like, I don't care. At no point does it make you care.
Doesn't make you care. I can still remember most of the Guild Wars 1 story, and then that's also funny because when it's referenced in Guild Wars 2, or you're in like the same bit of map, and it's like, oh look, this thing from Guild Wars 1 again. Lol.
Yeah, I suppose the throwback bits are kind of interesting, but it's
In fact, here's another spoiler for you. Not really a very important spoiler, but like now I'm sort of in the ore continent, and we're trying to like.
It's like we want spoilers. Like, oh, here's another spoiler for you.
Well, yeah. And it's so much.
Go for it.
But it's like you're in the ore continent and you're trying to fuck up the undead army so you can like clear a path to get to the dragon or whatever. And you're like, oh look, we found the searing cauldron that the Char used to fuck up Ascalon in the first game. Lol, let's use that. That's totally safe and not likely to completely kill everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good day.
Dear me. So it's like Guild Wars 2, like, directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
A twist that you never saw coming, except you totally did. Lol.
It was quite like that. I haven't quite decided whether this one specific dude is definitely going to turn out to be a bad guy. He does seem really suspicious. I mean, for a start, he's a necromancer, and that automatically... he can turn evil at any second, surely. And he seems to know too much.
But maybe
he's a researcher of the ore continent, so he knows all this history and lore, and it's like... He knows a bit too much of all this history and lore and like how all the stuff on the ore continent works. It's like, how long did you stay here on this continent full of undead people that has only just risen out of the ocean like 25 years ago?
Yeah, that is definitely suspicious. Okay.
So yeah. Me and Rob are at the point we're just about to start getting in. We haven't done the mission where we choose which one of the orders we're going to be in. I think we're on the last one of the pre-choice missions, if I remember rightly.
So which one did you choose in your single player?
I chose the Priory, which are like the scientists, sort of.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay.
Archaeologists, I guess, is more likely. And
are you going to do something different, do you think? Or you'd leave it up to Rob?
I don't know, depends what Rob wants to do, because as I was thinking about it, it's like, basically whatever Rob chooses, I probably have to pick that as well, because... I suspect that if we chose different orders, it would probably send us a lot into like much more different map areas.
I was about to say, by that logic, should we
good.
not do the Priory because you've done it before, or should we do like the Assassins or...
Well, I don't mind that much. It's like whatever you want
League of
to
Shadows or whatever it is.
Order of Whispers. League of Shadows.
League of Shadows is the Batman. Yeah. Although it's not in the comic, it's like something else, like League of Darkness, and they changed the name for some reason.
Shadow of Leagues.
Or yeah, something like that. I don't know. So yeah, they changed it for some unknown reason.
League of Gentlemen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a local order for local people.
Now imagine that in Bane's voice. It's a local order for local people.
And that must be more severe.
Oh yes, I wonder which would break first, your mind or your body.
I'm not going to use this as the intro again.
No.
Anyway, carry on.
That was Guild Wars 2. I played quite a lot of that,
Indeed.
but then other shit came out, and god damn it. Other shit came out only like 2 days ago, in fact, and it already feels too much. I can't keep up.
What's come out?
Oh yeah. The Borderlands.
Yeah, Borderlands 2 and Torchlight 2 on the
Borderlands
same
2
day.
and Torchlight 2, yeah. Torchlight 2 sounds good.
I can't keep up with this shit any longer. It's like, I already...
How do you think I feel? You have the time.
Well, it's not so bad for like Guild Wars or whatever, because it turned out in the classic way very quickly that everyone started doing their own thing, basically. All the people from IRC who are in the same guild and everything, it's just like, we'll group up a couple of times, but then it's just like, whatever. Go do your things. Sometimes we'll group up to do some of the harder stuff, maybe. And seeing as you can only group 5 people together at once, and we have like 20 odd people in the guild, normally there's only enough people online to form 1 or 2 groups. So not everyone groups up all the time either. But yeah, so that, and also this is the other thing about it, was that because of Guild Wars' like level scaling, you can group up at any time and it doesn't seem to be a problem really. Because, you know, the high level people get downscaled, so everyone is still fighting at the same level more or less. Whereas now in Borderlands 2, which I've been playing, in case you couldn't tell, it's like that doesn't scale you down or up or anything. It's just like if you're too high level, you're just going to be stomping all these enemies. So I have been like every time the one person I'm playing with wants to play, it's like, well, I better get in there because otherwise they'll start leveling up without me. Time commitment, and the one person I'm playing with won't fucking stop playing it. Like, maybe I want to go and play Torchlight.
Really? Is he just constantly playing it?
Way too much.
But no, he's just obsessed with Borderlands 2.
Well, it is a classic maneuver of just like something new comes out, play it way too much. So yeah, we've been doing a lot with Borderlands 2.
And
So how is it?
And I think I'm struggling to keep up with that. I'm not sure. I need to actually take a break, which is why I'm doing this now, actually. It's a convenient podcast break.
So the podcast is only a break from Borderlands.
Makes a good excuse.
You'll be...
I think I might also
So how's
like...
the gameplay?
Well, yeah, let's talk about Borderlands 2 first before I talk about Torchlight 2, which I also want to play. But
I think
Borderlands 2 is like more Borderlands, as everyone says.
It's the same, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, slightly tweaked and, like, streamlined, but, like, the same, really.
And for what they went on about, like, the PC menus being, like, where they were like, oh, we didn't make a shitty port, we made, like, proper PC, like, the menus work properly. It's like, they're still kind of shitty. Well, the worst thing that I've seen so far is just, like, inconsistency, where you have when you open your inventory and you're looking at, like, you've got what weapons and mods you've got equipped is your first panel, and then, like, there's an arrow that you click on to the right of it that shifts you over to your backpack. And then if you want to, like, switch out what you've got equipped, you click on one of the things in your backpack, and then it moves onto your inventory page, and then you click on the slot that you want to swap it into or whatever. And obviously it shows all the comparison stats at that point. And that, that's okay. Apart from, for some reason, sometimes on that menu, like, you click on things and then it doesn't go. It just kind of, like, elastic bands back to what you just were looking at, where it's like, I clicked on I think on my inventory and it's like, whoop, and then it goes back to what I was looking at. It's like, no, and then eventually it goes.
No, I clicked on that.
So I don't know what that's about.
Weird.
But then, like, inconsistency, when you do direct trading between two players, which they have now, so you don't have to just throw shit on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
The main problem with it is, there's two problems. Firstly, throwing shit on the floor is way quicker if there's just, like, two people in the game. Because, I mean, the whole idea of the player trading is, like, obviously it's secure between two people, so you can't throw shit on the floor and then have another guy run up and steal it all.
Yeah.
So that's, like, what it's actually for. But throwing it on the floor is so much quicker if you're just trading it between two people and there's no one else there.
And no one around,
throw it on
right.
the floor?
Yeah, you can still throw it on the floor.
That's alright then.
But then, for some reason, the trade interface is, like, randomly different in that it opens up your backpack list, and then the trade window is to the right of it in sort of a similar way, where it's like you click on the thing and then you put it in the trade window. Except for some reason in this one, you don't just click on the thing and put it in the trade window. This window, you have to click and drag, and it doesn't work any other way for no apparent reason.
Okay, it's just an arbitrarily changed, like, user interface.
Kind of weird.
Yeah, it's just like, what? Why? So yeah, the interface is still not great, and I'm constantly pushing the wrong buttons because this is probably just my problem because it's the way it's like you hit I to open the inventory and then you hit escape to close it, but I'm always on. Wait, and then you hit tab for some. You hit tab to go into another part of the menu. I think tab just opens the basic menu, and the I is, like, directly to the inventory screen. Like, M is directly to the map screen, but you can tab between them because they're on the same panel. But because tab is tab is what I use to open my Minecraft inventory. And in Minecraft, you, like, hit tab to open it, and then you hit tab to close it again. So I'm always trying to hit tab to open it in Borderlands, and then hit tab to close it again. But that doesn't work. You have to push escape.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just always being annoyed by that, where it's like, go away, menu! No! It's the wrong one.
So does it do anything once you're in tab?
No.
Because it was
They just
tab
do
to
nothing.
open and tab to close, wasn't it? I think in 1.
I can't even remember.
I don't remember it being an obtuse button combo.
Tab to open, escape to close. Yeah. Dunno.
Like, why is it
It's
not
a
the
little
same
weird.
button? That's what it should be.
Yeah, it should be. Maybe they'll
And you
patch
can't
that. That
dual
seems like an
bind
obvious
keys,
thing.
which sucks for me as well. I want to bind crouch to C or V, because I can't guarantee that my finger's actually going to hit the right button.
Gonna hit one or the other. Yeah. I always
control.
bind my crouch to V, like every single time, like in every game.
Left
I always
control.
use V. V is just easier to, like,
My little finger gets bored.
Your little finger gets retardedly crippled if you try push control. It's like, curl your little finger up into a mess.
Yeah, that's fine.
yeah, it's a bit
got
far,
my hand
like,
resting
shift
on
is
it right
fine,
now, it's
right,
fine.
for running.
Yeah, shift is fine, clearly.
I don't know.
Although that's nothing if you're thinking about Torchlight's controls. This is not talking about even
Right.
Torchlight 2 yet, this is talking about Torchlight 1 as well, but
The original
when you,
Torchlight.
the default controls for that were ridiculous, because obviously you want, weirdly, because you're not using WASD because you're moving with the mouse. You're just clicking on a place on the ground and you move around, that's how you move in Torchlight. So you don't actually use WASD, but you use, like, the number keys for your skills. So you have, like, your three first fingers on 1, 2, 3, so you can get to those. But it's like your little finger is like, maybe you want to hold down shift so you can hold yourself in place so you can fire without moving. And that's your little finger, and that's
Yeah.
quite uncomfortable. But then if you want to show the names of loot items in the world, press Alt, and then it's like, cram your thumb under your under your hand. The least comfortable method.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
So eventually I
So
changed it to be like spacebar and like spread my hand out a bit more sanely. I should probably do that in Torchlight 2 as well, now that I think about it. Although you don't
I'm
need
always
to push,
trying to customize controls for things.
you don't need to
like,
push
I never,
the
like,
show loot
On
button.
on PC, I don't like get used to the default. I'm always like, no, gotta make it the way I want.
Well,
like,
it's
and then
like
I'll just
normally
learn
the
that.
trouble is like you don't know what the controls are actually
What's
about
actually best.
until you've played it for a while.
Yeah,
like,
that's
what
true,
does
yeah.
show loot actually mean, and how often will I use it?
Like every time I play like Free Space, like the other day I was playing that Battlestar thing. It's like I spend like at least half an hour like just changing bindings around to get something vaguely useful because there's just so many buttons in those space combat games.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
What else about Borderlands 2? Well, there's guns. A lot of guns. What a lot of
This is
how
the
many
main
more is-
question, I guess, is like how much more varied are they?
Yeah, they're having
Compared
some
to the first one,
some
yeah.
fairly ridiculous, weird guns we've found so far. Found like, well, my main gun at the moment is like an SMG that fires plasma shots, basically, that move a
Okay.
lot slower than bullets. So they're like little plasma balls that fly. It's just like slow-moving bullets, basically. That one's not that interesting. But then we've had various other weirder bullets. There's been a pistol with ricocheting bullets that just bounce around the room crazily. There's been a pistol which is
like
basically
a flat cannon.
yeah. There's a pistol which is
Unreal.
basically like a
Unreal.
needler, where it fires needles that then
Okay.
explode, although they don't combine like the needler does, which would be a lot cooler.
Okay.
And we just recently came across a machine gun which I'm not even sure how to describe it, but it like fires the bullets sort of upwards in a sort of arc, and then they drop down and sort of explode into like a little zappy flare. And which is really difficult to hit anything with, but you just sort of have to spew it into the area and like rain zappiness onto the vicinity. So yeah, that's kind of weird. Although obviously the best stuff is the guns where when you reload you just chuck them and then they explode like a grenade.
Oh, brilliant! Yeah, were they in the first game? Those?
No.
What?
This is one of the
Alright,
sort
okay.
of things that has changed where like now the gun manufacturers actually matter because the manufacturer is
that's
like
right.
an overall like what the T-Deal
Style.
guns are the ones that they all explode when you reload. And then the Hyperion ones like get more accurate the longer you fire. That sort of thing. But yeah, those exploding guns where you
There's
reload
like the
are pretty
Wild
funny.
West ones.
Oh yeah, the ones where you just they fire as fast as you can push the button.
There always were a few
Awesome.
slight variations, weren't they, in like the previous ones? Like certain guns would often have certain traits.
Well, in the first game,
slightly better than the others.
more like attached to the regular stats, where it was just like Hyperion guns were just better.
Well, yeah.
And like Jacob's guns just did more basic damage.
Yeah, more basic damage, often at the cost of either bullets per clip or accuracy.
Yeah. It's just like now these special features are a bit more distinct, but then you can also get the regular modifications to change the other stuff. But yeah. And also I accidentally didn't check this, but because you can have TD or rocket launchers, where it's like the rocket launcher obviously fires rockets, but I hear that when you reload, because this is what it's from the manufacturer, where when you throw the gun it explodes like a grenade. I hear that the TD or rocket launchers, after you fire the rockets out of them and then you press reload, the actual rocket launcher fires like a rocket.
That's awesome. What's even powering it? Like the last rocket is like attached to the gun. It's to the launcher itself, and it just...
Yeah, I guess that sounds actually really funny.
It's awesome.
Because I had one in my inventory and I fired it, but I didn't really notice because I was basically shot it out of a wall by accident when I was panicking trying to get ammo because I'd run out of ammo for practically everything else. The one in my inventory, I think it was called like its name, because the names are modified to like tell you about what the gun is. But I think the rocket launcher had like it was like the bonus rocket launcher, and it's like well, that makes sense, like a bonus rocket.
It's true.
That's
So yeah, and that's the other main problem we've had with Borderlands 2 so far is you run out of ammo all the time.
Oh really? Oh no!
You just fire so many goddamn bullets. I've already upgraded my SMG ammo capacity to like maximum, and I'm still constantly struggling to keep on top of it. Particularly in this one bit that we just did where we went into an arena.
I seem to remember it was a little bit of a problem at the start of the first game, but then very quickly becomes not an issue.
It's like once you can actually get the ability to upgrade, it's not so bad. And the same goes for Borderlands 2 as well, because right at the start of the game, it's actually really a struggle. You pretty much have to just keep swapping between all the different weapons because you're likely to run out of ammo if you just stick to one or two. But I guess that sort of forces you to try out different guns more.
Yeah, because I suppose the first one had that slight problem where it encouraged you to stick to a gun.
Well, and also in addition to like the gun leveling, it had like the different classes had specific skills that were attached to specific weapons, basically. Yeah. That's not so much the case any longer. They don't seem to be nearly as... I don't think I've actually seen any.
Wait, so the Gunzerker doesn't have to be a rocket launcher guy, you mean?
No, I don't think so. I don't think there's any specific... there might be... Well, at least certainly the Siren doesn't seem to have any SMG-specific skills any longer. It's just like generic increase of like rate of fire and stuff.
Well, that probably makes sense. Do you still get the gun levels?
No, I don't think you get them either.
Okay.
So that's kind of
so
weird.
It's just more on the guns now rather than on you.
Well, yeah, I guess it's more based on the actual gun stats. And
but the mission structures aren't that varied though. There isn't that much more variation in what you're actually doing. You still pretty much go here, kill stuff.
Well, yeah, that's what that game's about. Although
slightly more varied environments, I guess.
Well, yeah.
Well, no, I was kind of hoping for like a little bit more in what you do, in the same way that Guild Wars 2, kind of actually increases. Over the first game anyway, I feel like I'm doing much more varied stuff in that. Generally, because of the events and because of the things. Even though it does all boil down to just killing, somehow it feels varied. Like, oh, now follow this guy, now do this, blah, blah, blah.
Maybe.
It's like, whereas in the first Borderlands, it was pretty much, you could just do a lot of stuff just by going to the areas and like, oh, I've just killed a lot of things. That'll do.
Well, they weren't that many missions in Borderlands 1 where it was just like kill a number of things. There were some, but...
Well, it was often like not necessarily kill a number of things, but go here, pick up this thing. Or a lot of fetch quests.
Well, what else are you going to do, really? 'Cause
Well, I don't know. I want to see something a bit more. It's like a few more set pieces, I guess. A few more.
Well, there have in the main story, at least. There's been more sort of set piecey stuff. I mean, there has been a couple of times where it's like defend a place against waves of stuff. It's slightly different, I guess.
Yeah, they only did that in the expansions, really, didn't they? In the first one.
Did they? I don't even remember really any defense missions, really.
There's that one. It's in like a town, and there's a load of the sort of shielded guys. Can't remember exactly the detail. And you're waiting for some craft or something to come down or to land, and you have to basically just defend this certain bit of the town.
I don't know.
I'm not describing that very well, but it's most of Borderlands just ends up being, you're in this place and there's this thing.
It doesn't matter. It's all about shooting things. That's the important thing.
And the loot is more cool now.
Yeah.
And how is how is the actual shooting gameplay like? Is it different?
I
find
it. I think now. Well, I don't know, but I find it like quite difficult to see what the shit's going on now. I think it's almost the same problem that Guild Wars 2 has, where it's like now that they're in like newer graphics, they've been like, let's put more particle effects and more like flamey, glowy shit all over the place, and it just makes it really difficult to see what the shit are doing.
Yeah.
It's like when you shoot an enemy with a fire gun, and then they set on fire, but then they don't just like have a flame effect on them. They also like their like skin looks burnt, so they go all brown as well. But that makes it really difficult to distinguish their actual body shape and stuff. So it's like when you're aiming at the head and you shoot someone with a fire weapon and they catch on fire, and it's like, no, I can't really see his head any longer because it's just this mass of flame and black stuff.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean with that stuff.
Yeah, that probably makes sense. If he was on fire, you'd probably not be able to see much other than the fire.
Yeah, but it's because you're looking down a scope a lot of the times. You're like, look at all this massive like effects and shit, and you can't see what's going on. And there's all these effects. Actually, it's kind of maybe worse because I'm using the siren with the phase lock ability, where you just like suspend an enemy in midair. It's like even when they're stationary. Right. As soon as you start shooting and they set on fire, it's like, now I can't see what I'm shooting at any longer, even though they're perfectly still. It's still sort of disorientating.
Disorienting. I think you got it right the first time, nearly. So disorientation stations.
There's a lot of crazy shit going on.
So,
all the
what
time.
about the enemies? Are they varied?
Well, we've seen a lot of bandits so far.
Naturally.
Not so much wildlife yet.
Do they behave any differently, or is it mostly just run towards you?
They behave a lot more annoyingly, because they're always dodging shit. It's like, yes, that's like more clever and like better AI, but it's actually really annoying, because you're like shooting a guy charging towards you, and then he suddenly stops and like does a crazy dive roll to the right, and it's like, oh, like, fucked up my aim, I'm no longer aiming at his head for critical damage. I think I liked it better when they just were retarded.
Cool. No, you gotta have it a little bit more interesting, because it got kind of dull after a while. This does sort of just like, especially with the wildlife and things, it's like, well, they just appear and just kind of come at you, not come at you, but head towards you.
Yeah, I got it.
It's kind of
thanks.
It's kind of like
just check it.
Well, I guess like kind of in my using the siren, I kind of sidestep that problem by just phase locking them. It was like, oh, I can't be bothered to deal with you dodging my shit. I'll just stop you and hold you in midair and then just shoot you. It's much easier.
That does sound powerful. What's your friend playing as? Gunzerker or something?
No, he's playing as an assassin. So,
oh right, okay.
It's sort of a weird class. I don't know exactly how it plays, because I actually haven't looked at any of the other classes really yet.
I've heard bad things about the assassin. Actually, I mean, it looks cool.
From what I've seen about it is, well, the important thing is the action skill. Obviously, the major skill for the for the siren it's the phase locking, and then for the commander it's the turret thing, and for the Gunzerker it's the crazy dual wielding. But it seems like the assassin one is just like you create a decoy and then you go invisible for a period of time, and then you get like.
But don't you have like a katana?
Invisible. Well, that's just his melee attack. It's not really.
Oh right.
A specific.
It's not like an assassination move. It's not
Well,
like a backstab
I
or
assume
something.
that somewhere in the assassin skill tree, there's probably a like melee damage bonus while you're invisible stat or something.
Right.
Something
Okay.
you can upgrade to make that like a one-hit kill, basically. I imagine. Because there was something like that for the Siren in Guild Wars, not Guild Wars, Borderlands 1, where it's like when you're phase walking where you're invisible, if you do a melee attack to exit phase walk, you do extra damage. So that's basically the same thing. Apart from it's on a different class now, I suppose. But yeah, Siren sucks now. God damn it. I much prefer phase walk to phase lock. Because phase walk had so much more to it. Because phase lock is just like, stop a guy and hold him there.
Yeah. Freeze
And
frame.
then there's like some other small upgrades you can do to it. Like I just recently got, when you phase lock an enemy, it sort of like gravitationally sucks everyone else in the vicinity towards him, which can be kind of handy if you want to like throw a grenade in there. So that's kind of like one of the first upgrades I've got to that. But then like on Borderlands 1 with the phase walk, it was so much more awesome because you had the explosion when you went into phase walk, and you had the explosion when you came out of phase walk, and then you could upgrade it so while you were invisible, you were doing electric damage when you were near enemies, so you could just like run past all the enemies to like start zapping them. And then like the melee bonus, and the other thing that I miss about phase walk is that like when you're in phase walk, you run super fast. And I just like the maneuverability of running super fast. And like activating travel times a bit quicker.
Yeah.
It's particularly bad when this is another thing that's sort
fun.
of maybe like another element of like design where I think they've sort of been retarded. But
Taking a step back, right.
well, no, not exactly a step back, but it's just this one thing where because you have like obviously everything's sectioned off into like zones or whatever, and then there's like a gateway between each zone where you go up and push the button, and then it does a count loads into the new area. The level transitions, basically.
Yeah, sure.
But it's like in one of the main cities that you get to quite early in the game. There's like the main bit of town, and then to get to the bit where the level transition is, there's just like a car park, and then just like a big pointless bit of road before you get to the level transition. It's like, so you're just wasting like 30 seconds running down this bit of road every time you're travelling out of the city. It's like, why?
Okay.
Could you just put that level transition like in the city, for Christ's sake?
Well, they did kind of do that occasionally on Borderlands 1, didn't they? So you like get to an area and all the useful stuff would be there, but there'd still be like a reasonable distance between the actual button that you have to push and then the actual useful stuff like the vending machines and the respawn point and whatever. So
well, it's like in the majority of cases in Borderlands 1 and 2, it's like as soon as you go for a level transition, there's always a vending machine and a respawn point.
yeah, but I remember
That's
there being a
important.
few places where there was some distance between it.
Not too far usually, but yeah.
No, yeah, not crazy far, but you know, a distance.
But it's more of a thing in. I think it's just that one particular case in Borderlands 2 where it is that city that you visit several times, and in order to get to the level transition, you have to run all the way to this thing, to like down that road. Although, of course, you can fast travel between like respawn points in certain locations, but not every respawn point, unfortunately. So like specific. So you can't go to like every entrance of an area. You can only go to this one specific respawn point in the middle of it.
Yeah, they did that before, didn't they?
Well, they did, yeah, but it didn't seem so important in Borderlands 1. I think there's more backtracking in Borderlands 2, from what I've seen so far.
Interesting.
Or at least, maybe it's more... No, I think there probably is, because in Borderlands 1, it was often the case where, or it was for us anyway, between when me and Rob were playing, where it's like, I knew where all the missions were, so it was like, okay, if we go here and we pick up all these missions, then we can go here and do all these missions in like one run without like having to go back and forwards and handing stuff in and redoing that area again. I sort of knew like the most efficient way, but in Borderlands 2 it seems to only unlock the missions, you know, where it's like you go through an area once for the main storyline, and then like 2 or 3 secondary missions appear in that area again. So it's like, oh well, I guess we're going back there again and do it again. every time. That seems to be the mission layout so far. Go through it once in story, and then you're going to go back there like 2 or 3 times for some missions. Which is okay, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, that's
shoot
fine,
things.
I suppose.
Shoot more stuff.
Well, that's what it's all about.
Yep. That's what it's only about.
So that's Borderlands 2 for the time being, I guess.
Yeah.
Probably move on if you've got Torchlight 2 to do.
Yeah. Torchlight 2. I've only managed to play like a couple of hours of it because I can't get to not be playing Borderlands 2.
Okay, so you've only got like initial impressions.
Yeah. And that's a lot like Torchlight 1, surprisingly. Just like Borderlands 2, it's quite a lot like Borderlands 1.
Okay. But you like Torchlight, so...
Yeah. It just seems like more of that game. Slightly more sort of... Well, I don't know... don't know about calling it more fast-paced, but it certainly seems more sort of...
Snappy, yeah.
Manic?
Yeah, maybe. It's like you don't seem to be well, or maybe this is just at the start of the game, but you don't seem to be grinding enemies' health down so much. There seems to be a lot of cases in Torchlight.
More of them, or
yeah, I think that's probably what it's like. It's like because there's a lot of times in Torchlight 1 where you'd find even just things that were sort of classed as regular enemies. They weren't like the rare enemies. It was like this enemy is taking a bit of a pounding. I'm just going to have to stand here and shoot it for like a minute or two to whittle its health down. Doesn't seem to be quite so much of that any longer. I don't seem to be spending nearly as long in like each dungeon or each level of each dungeon.
Anything that noticeably explains the epic delays?
Not really.
So it is awfully like the first one, is what you're saying. Awfully. It's,
There is. Well, I think the main thing that that looks to be different is that there's a lot less random maps. Like the overworld doesn't appear to be random, as far as I can tell. So the dungeons are still made up of the random tile sets, or at least I suspect they are. I haven't actually been through the same dungeon with 2 different characters to be able to say that for certain. But they look like that same kind of. You can see where it's like, this is a corridor where it's just a generic end of this corridor and then it will link to another block of this random tile set. But the overworld seems to be like specific maps. So maybe that's like, maybe they spent a lot of time having to actually make, content.
Yeah.
instead of just making an algorithm to make the whole game for them.
It's probably time well spent.
Yeah.
Arguably.
You get more pets. I guess that's something else. There's more classes and more pets. That's something they could have spent time on.
Awesome.
You say more.
Yeah.
So more than 3.
Yeah, quite a lot more than that, actually. There's 4 classes now, so like 1 more. But then there's like 7 or 8 pets, and there's some of the pets are really dumb. Where it's like, why not have a dog? Why not have it's a wolf. But why is like there's the classic like wolf and. I think it's a lynx now rather than a whatever it was before.
Sort of leopardy cat thing.
No, I guess it was a lynx before. Sort of. But then it's like, why not have a cat? Just like an actual cat. Not a lynx, just a cat. Or a ferret. Which was they added that to, it was a mod basically for Torchlight 1, where originally they were going to have the ferret as a pet in Torchlight 1, but it didn't make it in time, but then got released as a sort of official mod.
Yeah, okay.
But then now it's in Torchlight 2. Have a ferret as a pet. Or a hawk. Or, like, a chihuahua. It's not a chihuahua. No. It's another one of those stupid small dogs that I can't remember the name of.
Shiatsu or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. But it's just like, that's not a combat pet. How is even a ferret a combat pet?
It can bite their legs off.
Yeah. I think I made a mistake
choosing
choosing...
their nads to death.
I think I made a mistake choosing the ferret as well, because it's actually like really small, so it makes it quite hard to keep track of.
You actually bothered? You didn't really ever really need to keep track of my pet in the last one, though.
No, but it's nice to know. It's nice to be able to see it so that you know when it's like when you just see enemies that are attacking something. It's like, is my pet there under that big pile of enemies? I can't really tell. So yeah, it's mighty similar. to Torchlight 1, I suppose.
So you're going to try the co-op, I guess?
Probably not, because no one's playing it.
Really?
Which is what kind of sucks. It's like, all the free Torchlight 1, it was like, why is there not co-op? Where's the co-op? And now there's co-op, but no one else will play it with me.
Oh well.
It's like, I'll do it eventually, but we've got so much to do.
Yeah, that is, Rob's got the... I'm kind of glad that Rob did kind of decide to commit to
Jump
Google
straight in. Right, okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, I because I want to stay away from Borderlands. I just want to stay away from buying new games for a bit, because I've just got far too much on my plate to handle.
Yeah.
Like, I want to get some way with Guild Wars before we inevitably take a break. And
you still got a bit of Saints Row to play.
I've still got to finish Saints Row. I've got plenty of Steam games I haven't even started. Like, on the co-op front, Zach and I want to do Trine 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were saving that because Tim
suggested
that he wanted to do it in a stream or something.
Oh yeah, live
because it's a
stream.
free-player game, so it's like, that makes sense.
Yeah, that would be quite hilarious.
TJ Kipling would have put it on his Twitch channel. But...
Yeah, cool.
Speaking of, we played Left 4 Dead 2 with him on his stream.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And, like, didn't totally fail, sort of.
Oh,
well,
nice.
it was a half fail, but I forgot how difficult that game actually is.
Well, it's like... I think... I'm trying to remember. I think, like, probably that the mall climax thing is probably one of the harder ones, really.
It was pretty difficult, because it's really long.
Yeah, and you have to, like, have a strategy. You can't just, like, wing it.
Plus, it's kind of prone to some accidental fuck-ups.
Yeah.
Like, if you set alight one of the cans, and then you have to go, oh, shit, we've got to go back for another one.
Yeah. And it takes a long time, and then it's just, like, the longer you spend, the more tanks you're having to fight.
Yeah.
It's like, we've already done one tank, oh no, here comes another tank, and then if you spend too long, here comes another tank.
Straight away. Yeah. But it was kind of fun doing that again. It holds up surprisingly well, given it's quite old now, isn't it? Like 3 years?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, 2 since and stuff.
Yeah. Well, it was before Portal 2, yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. It's been a few Valve games since, even.
Yeah. But, yeah, it holds up surprisingly well. There's still some really nice bits of the graphics that I quite like. Like, the way so some of the lighting is pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the sort of, like, high-vis stuff, like zombie eyes and things. It's cool.
Speaking of the Source engine...
Oh, here we go.
I've been playing a Black Mesa. The total, fan-made remake of Half-Life, the original game, but in the Source engine. And, it's Half-Life. They've done an amazing job. I'm very impressed, actually. Like, it looks great. I mean, it doesn't look like a totally modern game, but I was expecting it to look like Half-Life 2.
Right,
in terms of graphics. But it looks more like it looks as good as, like, easily as good as, like, Left 4 Dead 2 or Portal 2, I think. It's really impressive. They've gone to, like, a lot of lengths to, like, make the texture quality of everything, really high and stuff. Like, they've gone, like, it's crazy. Like, they're just, like, amateurs, I guess, but I think they're, like, modding is, like, different from what it used to be. I think these people are trying to get jobs in the industry, so they're just trying to show off and do something totally awesome. So the quality of this is on par with, no, I wouldn't say, like, on par with Valve, but it's, like, on par with some of the best, like, developers, I think, and it's amazing, like, especially given the long gestation, right? This thing has been in development forever, and you can imagine that, like, I was expecting that, like, bits of levels would look like they'd been created years before other bits and stuff, like in Duke Nukem Forever or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But no, everything looks consistent, and, like, the whole thing is consistently good, like, the whole way through, at least as far as I've got. I'm up to, like, apprehension. Yeah, it's really impressive. And the thing I'm most, like, impressed about, I think, actually, is that the actual shooting mechanics are really good. Like, it's a great shooter. Like, it might be the best shooter I've played this year, actually. I think it might be more fun as a shooter than, like, Max Payne 3. Because, like, the guns are really good and really satisfying. Like, they're the same, but they've all been, obviously, remodeled and stuff. But I mean,
yeah, that leads to the next obvious question, I suppose. What's the sort of... does it still feel like the play of the original, or have they built their own sort of feel to it? Because I never really liked that was always one of my weird things with the original Half-Life, is I wasn't a big fan of its feel.
Right.
How you move around the world, how you shoot and that kind of stuff. I never really liked that.
Okay. Well, the movement is much more Half-Life 2-like, but it's faster, and you have infinite sprint and infinite flashlight. There's no battery.
That's kind of better. Well, infinite
really cool.
sprint might be, sprint kind of makes sense to have energy, but the flashlight thing, sharing the sprint thing, is kind of dumb.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb. But yeah, I mean, it's cool because you don't end up sprinting that far because the environments generally in Black Mesa aren't
cramped.
Super large. I mean, I haven't got out to surface tension yet, but I mean, although, and actually the areas are it's like a reimagining, the areas are bigger than they were, basically, and they look more expansive and cool while still being basically the same.
Yeah, I've seen some comparison shots of how they've redesigned certain parts of the game.
Yeah.
They seem like reasonable decisions.
Yeah, in fact, every decision they've made, you can see, because I'm such a fan of the original game, and I know every inch of Half-Life pretty much. And every decision they've made to change something, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. For example, the things that are it's so much like Half-Life. It is the game is the same. That any difference jumps out quite a lot to me. And there's stuff they give you the weapons in different places than in the original game. You first get the shotgun later, or so there's a bit at the start where it's quite jarring, where you're expecting to pick up the pistol off the dead body of the security guard, and you just can't because there isn't one. And you're like, what? This is where I get my pistol. Or even right at the beginning, you don't get the crowbar until later than you do in the original.
Huh.
So it's kind of weird, but
a bit more running.
I guess that initial part, you have no combat option except the security guard dude, and it has the usual follow me and leave behind thing from Half-Life, but now it's got the whole I'll just get out of your way kind of system where they don't get in the way so much as they used to. So that's all cool. And also they've done they've done some kind of they've developed their own tech to make all the faces a bit different to each other. So even though there's loads of security guards and scientists in Half-Life, right? And they always used to. Yeah, they don't all look the same anymore. So what I think there are some predefined meshes, right? But then there's some random generation inside them. So no two people look alike, but some of them look like they're brothers or something, or from the same family. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's
you see what I mean? So it's kind of
they're essentially using a face maker, from
exactly.
What do you mean, Saints Row has, or probably just the face contortion stuff from Gary's mod, I guess. But
well, I think it's a bit more than just the contortion. I think it does build a different model of the face, which is cool. So everyone looks different. They still sound. Some of them sound the same as each other because they only have so many, voice actors that they've got from their community. Because what they basically did was. It's quite eerie because everything's been redone, right? Because they couldn't use any Valve stuff because it's all copyrighted and stuff.
And the quality, I guess, was a bit low on the original.
Exactly. So, but they've managed to find people who sound like they're doing impressions, kind of the original guys. Except there's more dialogue now. There's more jokes and stuff that they've added, which all fits really nicely. And it's quite hard, actually, as well. Once you start fighting the Marines and stuff, it's pretty tough.
It always was pretty hard.
Yeah, it's pretty tough even on normal. I mean, the Marines can, run and shoot now. In the original game, they had to, sit still and shoot, and then they ran, which was kind of cool.
Before they could.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it kind of worked, but, I mean, yeah, it's cool. And, they have changed, like, I stopped playing on a rail. That's my usual stopping point, because it's like on a rail's a bit of a bitch as a level. Like the one where you're on the trains and you have to keep switching the tracks and stuff. And they've, that's the first level that they've like completely reworked, basically. It's like half the length. And they've got rid of the switching puzzles. And they just replaced it with like a Half-Life 2 style, you know, physics puzzle or whatever. Or connect the thing. So they like, and they like put the tube, the launch silo thing from towards the end of on a rail. They put it kind of in the middle to break it up. So it just makes it a much nicer flowing level than like endless, you know, zooming through tunnels.
Just tunnels,
yeah. Yeah.
So that's such a bit. I thought that was a bit of a low point in the game as a whole.
It was, yeah. So they've basically fixed it. And then the actual rocket launch looks way awesome, obviously, now. Because, like, and yeah, so, I mean, I wonder what I don't like about it. Like, the things I don't like are, like, some of the sound effects aren't as creepy as they used to be. Like, the tentacle dude, like, the tentacle guy, it looks awesome. It's being away on the inside of the, you know, silo in Blast Pit. But it doesn't... You know, the dong with the 3 tentacle arms. It's like famous bit. Do you know what I'm talking about, Zach?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I sort of remember of it, but I can't really visualize it, if you know what I mean.
So it was like you had to. It was invulnerable, but it could hear your movement, so you had to like.
Oh yes, no, I remember now. Yeah,
that's right. And then you had to turn on all the oxygen and stuff and get back to the control room and fire the rocket and kill it. Anyway, so it bangs away, but like in the original, it used to occasionally sort of pause and do this like weird, creepy yawn type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to do that in the same way. It's just not as just little things like that. It's just not quite as creepy as
like a casual like bloke yawning. And then carries on.
Well, no, it just doesn't seem to do it at all. It just keeps banging away. It's kind of a bit strange, but like, and also like they've redone like almost all the enemies are custom, so the Vortigons look like Vortigons in episode 2, so they have that crazy lightning attack, but they're shooting or whatever. But then a lot of the stuff they've had to custom do, like the bull squid and like the sound dogs, what they're called, the hound eye things, and the hound eye things have a cool effect where they like blur your whole vision and stuff when they attack, but they don't have that insane sound they used to have when they were charging up. Those sounds have kind of gone, but they look really cool. But one of the only enemies that they've like ported directly from Half-Life 2 is the head crabs. And as a result, like I always thought that Half-Life 2 head crabs just weren't as creepy as Half-Life 1 head crabs, at least the normal ones.
It's because they look like, obviously they're like kind of fat and chubby.
Yeah, chubby. Yeah, and it's like I almost wish that they'd like done a new head crab, like because they were kind of more icky in Half-Life 1. Like the ickiness was kind of reserved for the poison head crabs in Half-Life 2.
Yeah,
I feel. Yeah, so that's
sort of spindly ones.
A bit. Yeah, the black ones that like, and the creepy poison zombie dude that had the most horrible breathing sound ever.
Oh man, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's just horrible.
That was nice.
Yeah, so no, but I'm really impressed. It is just Half-Life, but I mean, I think it's so good that it's like this might almost be the way to play Half-Life now. It's amazing for a fan-made thing.
Given that it's not finished though.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. But you get most of the game. Like, you get all the way up to Lambda Core. And I mean, it's a lot longer than your average first-person shooter at this point. Definitely a lot longer, like twice as long as a COD game, I would say. Even though it isn't finished. Because Half-Life was quite a long game.
They always were, weren't they? Even Half-Life 2 is pretty long.
Yeah, Half-Life 2 is fairly long. But yeah. Because I have to say, I always... Like, as good as Half-Life 2 is, I still think Half-Life 1 is better. And now it looks better than Half-Life 2. So, win. Pretty much. So yeah, check it out. It's free.
Yeah, maybe it'll be like the thing that makes me like Half-Life. You know.
Well, I wouldn't. If you're not a Half-Life fan, maybe it will.
Well, yeah, if it plays better. then
Well, I think it plays better. Yeah,
then maybe
definitely.
that'll help. Because as I say, it's hard to find. I always had this sort of like it's like my GTA thing. I think I always had a sort of intangible, an appreciation of it in what it achieved, and for the time, its achievements are staggering, really. But it's like
changed the way, like lots of games that you've liked since have been very
exactly.
much influenced by Half-Life.
A lot of stuff that we take for granted wouldn't have been there without Half-Life. But it's like I never actually really enjoyed playing the game as itself, and it's but I liked what it did and what it was trying to do. It's maybe this will actually be the one that I might like to play.
Yeah, definitely give it a go. Anyway, that's my
Well, it's
In
free.
between all
I've
that
got
other
no-
shit.
Yeah. It's free. There's no real no excuse.
Yeah, sure. Just go for it. Just download it. So we should probably talk about what you've been playing, Rob, if you've got some stuff over the past week. When you haven't been
kind
in
of.
Paris.
It's been a bit bitty, as I say. We played a bit with Guild Wars, as we talked about, but I went back to play Child of Eden for a bit, for a quick sesh, because it's awesome. As I mentioned earlier, in the Mizuguchi noise. Did I mention? Oh, never mind. But yeah, it's still cool. Hard mode is hard. It's a hard mode that is actually hard.
You're playing it with the Kinect, right?
Yeah, I tried. I was alternating really. So I was playing one round with my arm because the sort of flinging gesture you have to do. So my flinging animation is like I'm animated to do that action. But yeah, the flinging kind of gets a bit tiresome on your arm after a while, especially on your elbow and things. So it's if you're being a little over vigorous. So I sort of do a round of that, then a round on the controller and stuff, and they're as hard as each other. Basically, you can get to the bosses of the stage fairly easily, and then because hard mode basically doubles all damage you take. It's like you take a couple of hits and you're gone, and it's like but I've got all the way through the stage and then just died. It's like It's it's hard. So yeah, I did a bit of that. What else did I do? I randomly fired up Sonic 2.
Okay.
Pretty much played through that because I realized I'd never actually finished my XBLAR copy of it, and so I was like, what the hell? I'll do that, and just sort of blasted through it. It's like, thank God that the XBLAR version has save states, an emulation, because it's that game is surprisingly. I'd forgotten how hard some of the end bosses are.
Yeah.
It's they're not that difficult, but it's pattern recognition is the problem. It's you need to know what order their attacks are coming in, really, to do well, because there's not... The window for you to react to it is tiny. Really tiny. And on it's the supersonic boss that's a bastard. Basically, taking out the giant robot isn't so bad, the classic chicken boss or whatever. But but taking out Silver Sonic is a bit of a pain unless you know exactly what order his attacks are coming in. So that took me a few times, and I was trying to do a Chaos Emerald run as well, and the last special stage is super hard, especially if something fucks up, because I was playing both Sonic and Tails mode, and those special stages get harder if, for some reason, Tails gets damaged while you're jumping, then you swap positions. Then Tails is running in front, but you can't rely on Tails to then pick up all the rings because he's more likely to get killed by stuff. So if that happens, you're pretty much buggered. So there's a few annoying sort of a bit of random really in how some of that works, but
it's a very old game, isn't it?
Yeah. But I did that. It was still fun.
Cool.
What else did I do? I finished the normal mode of Space Invaders Infinity Gene.
Well, is that on what platform's that?
XBLAR again.
Okay. Cool.
But that was kind of cool. That gets a lot more interesting towards the end of that game.
Oh, does it? Okay.
There's
They're on normal, I mean.
Yeah, you kind of have to... it's weird, you kind of have to actually sort of give in to what the game is trying to do. So some of the evolutions you get throughout the game are you can actually increase the number of ships you get per continue and things like that. And it's a bit of me at first was yeah, but I'd never really do that because that kind of feels like cheating. And it's like, but no, the game's actively encouraging you to do that. That's the point. You've evolved the ability to have more lives. So just set the option. Just do it. You'll probably need it.
Yeah, okay. So that's the advice. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I
makes
finished that on
sense.
normal difficulty. It's one of those, it's got an annoying achievement system in the sense that I finished it on normal difficulty, but it didn't give me the achievement for finishing it on easy difficulty.
Oh, why did I do
The
that?
worst.
Yeah, it's pretty cack.
Idiots.
So, yeah, I've got so finishing that gave me I've got, out of the 200 points available, I have 30. It's because it didn't sort of ask you, oh yeah, you've got to go through challenge mode, which is another 100 levels or something.
Yeah.
And then there's some bonus levels as well, which, I don't know how many of them there are, there's quite a few. But there's, yeah, so I've still got tons of that game to do, but it gets interesting towards the end because it starts messing with perspective a bit. You've got physical objects that are in the way. There's a giant enemy crab.
Seriously.
Yeah, no, for real.
Do you have to hit the weak spot for massive damage?
Pretty much all of it is weak spot, so that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool game. It's it has some technical issues, but it's pretty cool.
Okay.
What else did I
Thumbs
play?
up.
Yeah. Zach and I did a little bit of co-op Shatter last night, which was kind of fun.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
If you don't know if you remember, but Shatter was that breakout thing that we played a while back, where you have the push and pull dynamics to push blocks about stuff. But yeah, the co-op was kind of fun. Do endless mode of that. It puts both of you on panels and
Get some impossible achievements.
yeah, man, the achievements for that look hard, man. Because what
Just
did we end
hard,
up?
it would take several hours.
Yeah, probably. Because we scored what was it, 700 million or something?
Yeah.
On our best run, and that was a 20-minute game or something. And one of the achievements is for 10 billion points, and it's right, either you have to mass up a ridiculous multiplier and keep it somehow, or it's just you actually have to play for let's try and figure this out. About 200, about 5 hours in one game.
Wow. What?
Yeah,
5 hours? Okay, that's a marathon.
pretty extreme.
Literally a
and
marathon.
legitimately stay alive for that time.
Yeah.
Would have helped if I wasn't pushing all the wrong buttons.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. It's
I was
Shot
using
Storm! Oh no, I've just fired our spare balls.
It was I started trying to push the buttons that I normally use. It's no, Rob's reconfigured them. What has he reconfigured them to? Some random keys in the middle of the keyboard for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, that was even I kind of second guessed myself there. It's why have I done that?
What the hell?
It's I changed them to UI and K.
Yeah.
UI and K? What?
For Shield, Shard Storm, and Ball.
That isn't a natural combination to rest your fingers on, is it?
Well, that's alright.
Yeah, it's okay for finger position, but it's still I
Yeah.
kept not even remembering which one was which, even after I pretty much only just pushed it. And it's what?
Yeah.
This is much. I think
It was always a funny moment where it's just oh, what's that going to do now?
Oh god.
I think it's probably because in the default configuration, the 3 buttons that you use are all different sizes. Because it's ball is slash, and then the shield is shift, and then shard storm is control. So it's those are 3 very different buttons.
I guess, yeah.
Can't mistake those.
This is true. But yeah, that's still a cool game. Another sort of thing to add to the list of games that we can't add to the GOTY. But
Well, I downloaded the soundtrack as well.
well, yeah, does that count? Because they only released the soundtrack as a separate, so we can give it best
soundtrack.
In fact, I think that the soundtrack might have come out not very long after the game.
No, I think I looked it up. I think it's the soundtrack didn't get that released till fairly recently. I could be wrong. Fuck it, who cares?
That's another thing about Black Mesa, is that even the soundtrack is quite good, in a Half-Life 1 style, but obviously they had to re-record and do new songs, but it works. It's the same, kind of.
Well, it didn't really
It's
have
quite
much,
impressive.
and the first one, though, did it?
No, but it sort of kicked in at like key moments, which was kind of clever. So it's just the same style. I guess Half-Life 2 does that too, doesn't it? Don't know. Anyway.
All the
Soundtracks.
modern Valve games.
I'm struggling to think what else I've actually been playing. I haven't really played much Saints Row in the last couple of weeks. Play more. Guild Wars kind of took over that. Played some Pinball Arcade, actually, on the iPad. I played a bit of Plants vs. Zombies on the iPad, because they did a Retina update recently.
Oh, okay.
So it's now got sharper graphics. Woo.
Man, because the iPad, the new iPad resolution is like insane, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's better than 1080p. So
yeah, so they've actually updated it to be better than 1080p. That's swish.
Pretty cool. It's like, I thought they weren't going to bother, given that, Plants vs. Zombies 2 is on the horizon.
Right, yeah.
But, no, yeah, they just totally did it. And it's like, oh, okay, cool.
Nice. Good on them. Awesome.
Yeah, so I've played a bunch of that. I played a lot of that on the train back from France. And some Bejeweled. And I think that might be it. I think I've just been spamming the little sessions of games. So I've been thinking to myself, we should totally do one of the, again, I know I've been saying this for the past year and we still haven't really got round to it, but we should totally just do a retro day and break out, when I say retro, the old Xbox or the Dreamcast and stuff, not totally retro.
Yeah, absolutely.
See how those games hold up.
What, play Halo 2 or some shit?
Yeah, maybe.
That might be quite funny. Old uni style.
Yeah.
Break out the
Can we get a LAN party going?
Don't even know when my Xbox is. Probably doesn't exist anymore. I don't. Probably got chucked out or something. That actually worries me. I don't know when my Xbox is. Anyway, well, that's a bad thought. Not that I need it or anything, but
it is dramatic. Always know where your Xbox is.
Yeah.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
Do you know where your one is? Your crystal one?
Yeah, I know where mine is.
Okay, cool. Good damn. Anyway.
It's in the loft. Well, I think.
So you don't really know.
Well, if it's not there, I don't know where it is.
Okay, vaguely though. Okay, cool. I think we're actually coming to the end of the time, aren't we? This podcast, not that we have a limit.
I've not been paying
right?
attention, so,
I think we started about 8. So if we don't want to make Jay even more pissed off than he already is.
That's so dumb. How can you be pissed off at the length of our podcast? So we do it every 2 weeks. It's like we give him a chance to catch up.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, perhaps we should wrap this one up. Anyone else got any other tidbits for today's cast?
Any backwards news?
Latent news? Nope.
Okay. All right.
Coolio, I'm calling it then.
Going once.
Thanks for joining us on the Saladcast.
Going twice.
And catch us again next time for more Borderlands 2 and a lot more Torchlight 2.
All the other twos.
And various other stuffs.
So is this going to be the year of 2 rather than last year, which was the year of 3?
Yeah, clearly.
Year of the bow.
I don't know. We had. Well, that kind of screws that one up. And Max Payne 3.
Yeah, true.
Right, yes. So, catch you next time on Saladcast. Bye.
Bye, bye,
Bye.
bye, 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 bye. I have to stop this now.
Bye.
Oh, God, I wasn't prepared for that.
I have to actually press stop.